Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to our weekly cast of the weekly or the Trovo Weekly. I'm your caster Snoopy. Gonna be casting for you today, alongside, of course, as always, Into the New. You can visit them on their channel as they're gonna be casting the Chinese or Korean language, but we are here for the English language cast. And looks like we got both players in the party. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the map vetoes underway. But before we get into that, just want to go ahead and direct you to the kind of the info section below. There is of course, the bracket link. If you want to check out the link to the kind of the overall bracket, as well as the Matcherino page for this event, as well as the coupon code that you can enter to contribute 50 cents for free. Now, you might be a little bit confused because when I earlier went into that Matcherino link, it kind of showed up as a different event. I am not exactly sure why that is, but you know, I was just given that link and that coupon code, so we'll just go along with it for now. Yeah, so let's go ahead and give an overall overview and summary of what we're about to watch today. We're going to have ourselves two semifinals, all best of fives. First semifinals will be Armani versus Dream. So that should be that should be a pretty awesome series, as that is a ZVT, which is of course my personal favorite matchup to always watch. And then we have ourselves Solar versus Hurricane for our second semifinals. So a ZVP for that one. And of course, the winner of those two best of five series, that semifinals, will advance to the finals, which will be played as a best of 7. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at the Matcherino page. So, like I said, it says Alpha X Series 24. Not sure why that is, but anyhow, you can see you can sign on in here. Log in with your whichever account you want. Then click the contribute. It'll say contribute. You enter the coupon code here, and then contribute, and then that's it. As easy as that. Alright, looks like still underway with the map vetoes here. By the way, if you guys are wondering why I am casting this week, because usually Kozen is the caster for this event. Kozen has been busy. If you haven't noticed, he's been casting the King of Battles event, and has taken a lot of his time and energy. So we're gonna give him a little bit of a break here. We're gonna go ahead and take over duties for this week's Trovo Weekly, as he casts tomorrow, Thursday. Is the Group D of the round of 16 of King of Battles. Of course, coming back to cast with him will be Zombie Grub. They did an amazing job yesterday, and of course, then once we get after Group D, we will have the playoffs starting, which will be, I believe, casted by Kozen and Rushi. Rushi will be, or Rushi. Not always sure how to pronounce his name. I used to call it Rushi, but I think it's actually supposed to be called Rushi. But I guess we'll go ahead and go with Rushi. Rushi and Kozen will be joining back once the playoffs begin. But if you want to catch Kozen and Zombie Grub tomorrow, make sure to head on over to our Twitch page, which will be that's where the King of Battles will be casted. And I gotta say, I've been watching the King of Battles events and games, and they have been pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, we got some heavy hitters in that tournament, and can't wait to get into the playoffs, where we should have ourselves some interesting matchups. Mac G5 asking Armani over Dream. Well, that's the first series. That's the first semifinals. Or actually, you know what? It looks like we're starting with the second semifinals as the... I'm guessing because Armani and Dream aren't here yet. All right, looks like, yeah, we're going to start with our first semifinals with Solar and Hurricane. And then it looks like we'll be doing the Armani versus Dream semifinals afterwards. By the way, yeah, thank you guys for giving us so much follows the past streams. We were able to reach over 300 followers on this channel. So thank you all for your amazing support. And of course, we did level up to level 3 because of that, which is pretty awesome. Get some extra perks from leveling to level 3. Sorry, a little bit about the delay. We're still going ahead and doing, it looks like, with the map vetoes here. They're all speaking in Korean, so I am not sure exactly what they are saying. But I anticipate that it will get started pretty soon. All right. Got some people joining in here, coming to the channel. Welcome, welcome. All right, looks like we are going to be starting with our first map here on Submarine. So, one of the, of course, the kind of the smaller maps. Get to reach your base, your opponent's base. I think 33 seconds was the time that people claim. So we'll see how this will unfold if one of the players or if both players does go for an aggressive opening. By the way, guys, do you have any predictions for this upcoming matchup? It's going to be Solar versus Hurricane, so I mean, some of you might be some Solar fans, some of you might be some Hurricane fans. Let me know who you think will come out on top. All right, Mac G6 saying, I have money on Solar and Armani. So going with the Zerg players here, huh? Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. I would say, also I would agree with you in terms of Solar. Solar, I think, has I would give a slight edge, not huge, a slight edge over Hurricane. On the other hand, for the Armani versus Dream one, though, I have a little bit of trouble. I feel like they are pretty equal in terms of skill level, so it's going to be really hard to predict that one, for me at least. Some of you might actually be pretty certain of your prediction, but for me, I would say anyone can take that one for sure. All right, looks like everyone is ready, so we're about to begin. All right, Submarine LE, game 1 of this best of 5 series. Max G6 saying Armani beat Solar 2-0 in their last match according to Wikipedia. Oh wait, looking for at the wrong one. All right, so Armani and Solar. Well, we don't have to worry about them because Solar is not playing against Armani. He's playing against Hurricane. So we'll see if he does 2-0, or I guess he can't 2-0, but 3-0 Hurricane. Anyhow, let's go ahead and introduce our first player. Here, spawning at the bottom right, is the red Zerg player from Kaizi Gaming. It is Solar. Oh, a little bit of clarification. Beat Dream. Okay. All right. So we'll see how that goes. No worries. It's early here too. Here, spawning at the bottom, well, not bottom, the top left, it is the blue Protoss player from Team LP. It is Hurricane. All right, so we got ourselves a PVZ. Now, in this PVZ matchup, we have seen a shift in the meta for some reason. I'm not sure who started it or why it started it, but we've seen Protoss consistently sending their probe out a tad early just to block that second hatchery at the natural. And that forces the Zerg, of course, to be taking their natural at their usual dirt base. Now, maybe it has something to do with the kind of the new maps, because I mean Submarine, I know why, because Submarine, like I said earlier, it's a smaller map, so you can get your regular pylon timing or so, and move out and block that hatchery. So I'm not sure. I mean, certainly it doesn't hurt, I would say. Not too much. Hey, Bitterwood. Welcome back to the channel. I gotta say, I love watching or seeing Bitterwoods, because he's been showing up in our events plenty of times recently, of course. Always a great supporter of Alpha X. And yeah, Cynical Death as well. Happy to see Cynical Death as always, keeping up with the Liquipedia updates, as well as supporting our events. I'm sure he is keeping tab on of course, the GSL tournament that is happening right now, the Codes event. I was watching that a bit earlier today, as there were some really great players in there. There were Stats, there was Maru. A lot of great players. But we're talking about this one. There's going to be Hurricane versus Solar, and looks like Hurricane going to go ahead and go with that Glaive Adepts build here. Now, the Stalker will be kind of poking away at that Overlord if it decides to come in. So, in the meantime, Solar, he's going to be pretty in the... Oh, wait, never mind. He does have... Of course, he did get the links earlier into the main base, so he did get the scout off, and he should be aware of what is happening, the potential, at least, of that Twilight Cancel. Now, of course, be Dark Shrine. It, of course, could be maybe an old school charge lot build, but I think he should be worried that there is Glaive Adepts. That is one of the more common openers in PvZ. And immediately he is throwing down that Roach Warren in anticipation of this. Of course, he does see this with the Overlord. He does see the move out. While this Roach Warren is still not complete yet, he's going to have to make a bunch of links, which he is 14 links on the production tab. As well as 2 Overlords, because he is going to be supply blocked soon, as he is just massing as much units to make sure he doesn't die to this. There are 5 Queens out here, which will be quite helpful. Will he let that finish? Nope, he does not let that Shade finish here. Gonna go ahead and warp in some additional ones, but oh no, these Queens are on top of the Warp Prism that forces the canceled warp-ins. And already this is looking pretty good for Solar, picking off a bunch of adepts in that engagement there. And once you dwindle that adept count, it gets so much easier for the Zerg to defend against this, right? I mean, there's not a lot of adepts. That is a total of, let's see here, with that 4 additional Shadens, that's going to be 10 total adepts. Not a lot at this stage of the game. It's kind of like Banelings, right? Banelings in small numbers, not quite as scary, but in a lot of numbers, it gets really, really scary and difficult to engage in. And that's kind of similar to Adepts, where in little numbers, not quite scary, pretty easy to defend, but in a lot of numbers, as they're shading back and forth, it gets really, really difficult to defend against that. In the meantime, Hurricane's still not letting off of this this harassment. He's going to go ahead and shade into the natural while dropping into the main at the same time. But Ling's already here, gets a nice surround, but there is another warping into the main while 2 adepts dive in onto the third base. This is a lot to micro here, but if he can micro it solidly, he can get a good decent amount of drones. Now he needs a lot more drones, because Solar in the meantime has been droning like crazy. He's up to 60 workers, 64 now, versus the 45 of Hurricane. And important to note that Hurricane doesn't have a third base. He doesn't have a third base, so that is going to be less less energy to chrono boost those probes out to catch back up. He does finally throw it down, but it's going to be really, really late. Now, all is not lost yet, because during this time, Hurricane has been transitioning into disruptors. He has known that, you know, his adept glaive attack just was not effective, wasn't quite effective. So, I mean, at that point, you gotta transition, right? You gotta either transition to maybe disruptors or something Colossus or something to kind of fall back on. But Solar, he knows that he's been defending this pretty on point, so he is going to go ahead and take that 4th base there at the bottom, at like the 7 o'clock position. But here we go, little scramble here, little skirmish out in the middle. Another shading here at the natural, but just absolutely not enough damage to warrant all those losses. Now, if Hurricane can get some nice, decent, significant, solid disruptor hits, he might be able to, and that is 1 start, getting 10 or 6 additional kills for 10, and then the 3 additional drones for a total of 13 drones killed. Okay, so that's a great start. He needs to get some value out of these disruptors, right? He needs to buy him some time to get those Colossus out. He does, of course, scout this. I believe he scouted the Spire somewhere. He is getting 2 Stargates to counter this, of course. And get some Ravagers, get some Banelings. Wait, let me go ahead and confirm. Yep, he did see the Spire with the hallucination, I suppose, and throwing down those 2 Stargates. Now he is gonna actually start getting Void Rays, because it looks like he's got a no Mulus out in the field. So making use of it, as you have 2 Stargates, might as well, you know, make some units, right? Either Oracles or Void Rays. Void Rays will do really well against those Ravagers and Roaches. And plus, you know, the army composition of Solar, not quite good against air. They don't really have any anti-air potential, except corrosive biles, which is really hard to target. You're gonna have to get like some lottery ticket lucky kind of winning shots at that point, if microed correctly, of course, which of course we do expect out of the caliber of Hurricane. Hurricane still keeping up with this disruptor harass here. And will he get an, oh my god, that first disruptor hit does get a good juicy hit there. Unfortunately, corruptors are out, so that warp prism will fall down. But at least does get a juicy hit at the end. But Hurricane, he's gonna have to be careful because the majority of his, or the bulk, the heavy hitters of his army is Colossus, and there are already corruptors out. But also there have been some void rays out as well, so that should help against countering the corruptor. So during the engagement, Solar is gonna have to decide: is he gonna focus the corruptors on the Colossus, or is he gonna focus it on the void rays? Once those void rays charge up, they're gonna do pretty well against the corruptor. So he's gonna have a choice to make during that engagement. Now, in the meantime, there is a huge army out here for Solar, largely comprised of banelings, by the way. So he is Hurricane is gonna have to make sure he force fields really well as blink his stalkers. And here we go. Solar is gonna go ahead and engage. It's a bit off creep, but there are some nice baneling connections. Oh my god, the Protoss ball is clumped up into a corner here. Those banelings got some really great values, but these void rays will force the Zerg army to move back. Solar is making some Vipers though, and that is gonna be pretty good against these void rays with those with his spell. Some additional baneling hits on the probe line here, gets additional 6 kills. Now he's just trading these lings. These lings are pretty cheap. He doesn't really need them at this point. It's just to kind of really tank. The main thing, the main hitters are the banelings as well as the those ravagers and roaches. And here we go, moving in with the banelings here. And we'll get denied as Hurricane does have his army in position here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the units lost tab. And overwhelmingly, it looks like Hurricane has been more efficient here. As definitely had less losses, Solar has definitely had more losses while Hurricane has less losses. And that's mainly because I think Solar had such a huge advantage at the beginning. He was like ahead by almost 20 workers that he's mined more and is able to kind of just throw units after units, throw banelings after banelings towards Hurricane here. Hurricane, a little bit of a weird engagement, kind of engaging with only half his army. He's got to be careful though. He's walking on creep, and you definitely do not want to give kind of that turf advantage to Solar during that engagement. There is no sentries in this army as well, so there's no force fields for these banelings. Hurricane is definitely going to have to split correctly. Split, come on, blink out. All right, so some decent split there by Hurricane, but there's just no answer for these corruptors. These corruptors have cleaned out all the void rays. There are some stalkers and archons, but they just don't kill corruptors fast enough. And all of a sudden, Solar, with the cleanup, with the rest of these cleanup, will extend his lead to 157 to 91. He does have the better upgrade, and oh my god, these these corruptors are just kill so fast with their vomits, and there's just nothing the Hurricane can do. GG, Solar will take game 1 in this best of 5 series. And yeah, this is just so hard for Hurricane after that failed Glaive Adept attack. You know, once you do that, because it is quite a commitment, if you don't get any damage done, or at least enough damage done, then the Zerg just gets so far ahead in terms of the economy. And then at that point, you know, especially with Hurricane's late third, he was just basically on the back foot throughout that point. So It was pretty much Solar's game to lose. He was able to close it out, and now he's going to head into game 2 with a 1-0 lead. And the second map will be on Jagannatha. And let me go ahead and just read or catch back up on the Twitch, or not the Twitch chat, the Trovo chat. Some talks about GSL, it looks like. All right. Here we go. Countdown has begun. Catharsis saying, hard to pick your stats talking English. Sorry, should focus more on these games. Hey, talk whichever games you want. It's all good. Okay, looks like Solar forgot to change race. So we're gonna go ahead and remake that. But yeah, talk about any games you like. Don't mind. You could talk about GSL, you could talk about King of Battles. So much great StarCraft events these days, right? It's so awesome. I think that's kind of one of the one of the very few good things that has come out of this quarantine is that more people are watching StarCraft, because StarCraft is one of those, I guess, those sports or esports that you don't really need to be in a LAN or in the LAN event to enjoy. It's one of those of course those industries that is able to adapt better compared to, let's say, football during this quarantine. So anyhow, let's go ahead and introduce our lovely players. All right, spawning here at the top right, hailing from Kaizi Gaming, he's the Red Zerg. It is Solar. And here, spawning at the bottom left, is the blue Protoss from the team of Team LP. Looking to tie up the series, it is Hurricane. So already we have a little bit of a deviation from the last game. Of course, the last game, Submarine, was a shorter map. So Hurricane did send out that first initial probe to block it, but this time around, nope, he does not send it. It's looks to be a longer map, so he has smartly decided not to do so and keep his probe a little bit at home to get that extra bit of economy advantage. Because of course, if you always send your probe out a little early, it is missing out some mining, so you lose out some minerals from that. Now Hurricane, he did go for that Glaive Adepts attack last game. It did not work out too well for him, unfortunately. Let's see if he does go for that once again. Right, this map is a pretty decent map to do so, I think. Pretty good distance between each mineral patches where you can shade in and out. But the question is, will he go for that same opening? Looks like no. It's gonna be a Stargate opening here. Now, for the longest time before, it used to be once a Protoss opened up those Stargate, the question was, is it going to be Oracle or is it going to be Phoenix? But in these days, post-patch days, We're now thinking, is it going to be Oracle? Is it going to be Phoenix? Or is it going to be Void Rays? Because Void Rays has now, of course, are a bit faster. They haven't been explored as much as Oracle and Phoenix, of course, but there's always that kind of period where once a Protoss units gets buffed, it gets kind of experimented on, right? You see a bit more of it, and you see if they can make use of that that small buff. But anyhow, let's hold that thought, as there are 2 adepts that has shaded in. We'll put on some harass, and will that second adept? Nope, that second adept does not survive. But 3 drones for 1 adept, not too shabby. I think he should be happy with that. In the meantime, the Oracle is making his way across the map. There is no spore crawlers, but at the dirt, but there is also no drones here, so he's gonna go ahead and try to fly into the natural. Doesn't have any spores, but there are 2 queens which should be able to deflect this back. In the meantime, oh my god, there is nothing at this wall. These lings are just chipping away. This adept was in the main base trying to take out this this small annoying ling here. So Solar just keeping on top of the micro here, kind of pulling Hurricane all over the place, giving him a headache. Overall, 3 drones lost at the Solar side, but also 3 probes lost for Hurricane as well. So any advantage he gained from that has kind of dwindled away and evened out. Of course, this Oracle is still alive, still able to get some drones, but oh no, does fly into some queens, will be taken out. It kind of seems like a Hurricane has been flustered by Solar's pesky lings in this early game. Alright, let's see what Hurricane is transitioning into. Looks like he's transitioning into Twilight play. I can't imagine he's going to go Glaives. I'm expecting him to kind of throw down a Templar Archive after this to get some Archons out, as well as a Warp Prism to kind of harass. But this can definitely go into any way. Some more probes going down for Hurricane. Let's see a total of 6 probes going down throughout this game compared to 6 of Solar. So pretty even thus far on both sides. And here we go. We do see that the Templar Archive has been thrown down. And I'm expecting we're going to go into that kind of that Immortal Archon charge, that kind of composition. He's getting that charge upgrade. On the other side though, what is Solar going for? It looks like he's going to primarily rely on roaches for the meantime. He's getting that +1 range upgrade, the roach speed as well. Now, will we see him kind of transition and throw down a Spire and go for some surprise Muleless? That's the question. Now, it's going to be a bit better for Hurricane because he does already have his Stargate. So if he can keep up on his scouting, he should be able to anticipate the Muleless and prepare for it. So it's going to be a bit of a risk if Solar does decide to go for Spire. But nope, it looks like he is going for some Infestor play. Ooh. Are we about to see some Swarm Hosts? I think I would like that. If he can get some Swarm Hosts out and just throw wave after wave, kind of dwindle the Protoss army, that could be pretty good for him. Of course, nope, looks like it's going to be Infestation Pit for a faster Hive so that he can go into Hydralisk and then Lurkers, I'm assuming. Because I think, yeah, you got to get Hive before you get the Lurker upgrades to burrow faster and to shoot longer in terms of his range. So All right, looks like we're going to heading into that kind of the Roach Ravager Lurker kind of army from Solar. But in the meantime, he needs to deal with this little War Prism at the right side. He doesn't have the Hydralisk out yet, quite yet, to deny that. But he does have the Spore Color and does move some of his units to the right side. And this is some great Overlord placement from Solar, giving him so much vision to anticipate any drop harass that is incoming. So we haven't really seen a lot of engagements per se, not any huge one at the very least throughout this game. They're just kind of scouting and kind of reacting to one another. Hurricane throwing down that 4th base, gonna go ahead and continue macroing up. While on Solar side, he's getting those lurkers out. He's getting the lurker den pretty soon. It seems like this lurker den has been taking quite some time, by the way, to build. And yeah, just Hurricane, just slowly but surely spreading that creep. Hasn't been quite on top of the creep spreading, but he's starting to, spread them at the right side. A little bit of a drop harass here. Won't do too much damage though. But I think it's just Hurricane's way of kind of keeping Solar busy as he is starting to get his Dark Shrine, getting his additional Stargate as he is anticipating lurkers as he does finally scouts it. And one thing you can do to counter lurkers, of course, is carriers. Because, you know, the more lurkers you have, that probably means, you know, the less Hydralisks you have as well. Because there is only a limited amount of gas that the Zerg can get, of course. So if the Zerg player does just invest in a bunch of lurkers and no anti-air, and have a less Hydralisk for anti-air, then those carriers can be pretty effective. But of course, he needs to make an optimal amount of carriers in order to kind of overwhelm the Zerg player. You do see that there is a little bit of a drop, Overlord drop here. What do we have in the main base? Not really much. Only one Stalker here. Not a lot of cannons or shield batteries. Oh, I think he's anticipating this. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, he just caught it with his Nexus. Oh wow, what a timing there. And that is a little bit of what we call luck. In the meantime, he is doing a double prong attack. I'm gonna go ahead and attack on the right side while attempting to drop on the left side here. But look at this. Look at the defensive setup that Hurricane has. Got the cannons here, got the shield batteries, got some Templar Archive for some Storm. But he just needs a bit more though. This should be enough. A lot of Archons to get on top of these lurkers. In the meantime, Solar looking to drop, and he should be able. She should like go right now because these lurkers are getting killed by these Immortals. But already Hurricane in the position here. Well, actually, there's no detection. Oh no. He needs an observer with his army, but at the very least, he does minimize the damage of these lurkers. Oh, these lurkers actually might get the fleet beacon, which would be gonna have to force Hurricane to remake here. Without the fleet beacon, of course, there's no avenue for those carrier production. And finally, that observer does arrive. Solar keeping on top of his double prong harass. At this point, I think he's just throwing some units because he does need to free up some supply. He is maxed out. Ling's really not gonna do too much for his army, right? So might as well just trade them, kind of replace them with Hydralisks and maybe some Vipers. Looks like, yeah, he is making some Vipers on the production tab, adding a second Spire to get those upgrades. Probably for those Corruptors to counter the air army that Hurricane is kind of slowly but surely transitioning into. And yeah, both players are just kind of taking basically their side of the map, expanding everywhere. Pretty much the half side of Solar's is covered in red, while the half side is almost covered in blue. There are still some bases, empty bases here at the bottom right side, which I'm expecting Hurricanes will probably take that later in the game. But yeah, looks like things have finally slowed down. And it looks like we're kind of heading into that late game, right? Both players getting the tier 3 army, adding those tier 3 army into their army composition. But I would love to see Hurricane just clear up some creep while doing nothing, while there's really not much happening in the game. At least you know, kind of poke in, clear some creep tumor, and then poke back out. I think that will be pretty good for him as the game progresses, and then, you know, the eventual big engagement will happen at some point. A nice little Zealot run by here will take out a hatchery of Solar, but he is doing pretty good in the economy side. He's got some nice little bank here, about 2.5k minerals and 1.5k gas. So that hatchery is not going to be too important. Here we go. We do have a little bit of a fight here at the left side. Gonna be smartly played there by Hurricane, because he doesn't really have that much of his size in terms of the carrier count. He only has 2. I'm not sure where the rest. Okay, I think it might be because he had to rebuild that fleet beacon that has kind of slowed down the carrier production. That's gonna be pretty devastating, because I'm sure he want like 6 carriers at this point by now. All right, some harass here at the right side, the bottom right side, sending his Hydralisk. We'll force a recall to save this base. Left side will be open, but look at that, all these cannons being built. At this point, you gotta wonder, what is Solar's plan? He does have some Vipers, got some Corruptors. He has enough to prepare for the air army, but it looks like the majority of Hurricane's army is still ground. He is making that slow progression, but I mean, that is a lot of High Templars. Woo! That's going to be a lot of storms for him. I'm actually wondering if he's going to mix in some disruptors. I think that might actually be pretty good. That's going to give him some additional splash damage, right? You have the 2 Archons. You have some High Templars for the splash damage. If you can add in some disruptor, that is going to be a 3rd option for splash damage. That could be pretty good. But it looks like he has not decided to go for it. I don't think he even has a robotics bay for that as well. Anyhow, he's going to go ahead and try to attack here, while the Zerg army is going to go ahead and attack at the bottom side. Solar is kind of holding strong a little bit with these Spore Crawlers, but he's going to have to wait for some of these additional Spore Crawlers. In the meantime, there is another charge light run by here at the Zerg's base. We'll force the Hydralisk to retreat back here to clean it up. But I gotta say, just look at the bird's eye view of the map. I really like Hurricane's kind of basically his him cleaning up all these creep tumors. This creep is kind of have yet to cross like the halfway point. It's like about to, but look at the creep here at the this side. Just barely any. There's none at all. And this allows the Protoss to kind of do these really annoying counterattacks and run-bys with these charge lot. Gonna go ahead and mix in some High Templars and some Archons here though. And this is not enough Hydralisk. You're gonna need a bit more. Oh my god, these Spine Crawlers is still not done yet. So this is gonna give the opportunity Hurricane to get on top of these Hydralisks. Oh my, what happened to the High Templars? Alright, looks like He's gonna go ahead and dive in here at the same time, but there's still so much lurkers. But these corruptors gotta be careful. He does not want to be stormed to death. Oh my god, another great storm here by Hurricane. Oh my god, Solar, please, please. Okay, actually, you know what? There's no more High Templar. Oh my god, imagine if he has like 1 or 2 more storms in this army. These corruptors would have been so cleaned up. Unfortunately for him, Solar will be able to fly back with the majority of these corruptors. And now, what does Hurricane do? All his carriers has been killed. Does he still continues with these with this air army? It looks like he's kind of dished that. He is going straight up only ground, mixing it with a bunch of Archons and Blink Stalkers. That is a poor, sad army, especially at the 19-minute mark into this game. Oh my god, and worst case scenario here is that he does have those Broodlords. So there's no carriers, there's no Templars, there's no Void Rays to get on top of these these Broodlords. These Blink Stalkers getting caught out in the middle, unfortunately. And it's getting pretty scary for our blue Protoss. He does have a pretty okay bank, not a lot really. You can still make some units here and there, but boy, Solar Army is so dangerous. How much Broodlords is that? That's 10 Broodlords out in the field compared to the 6 Archons, 4 4 Tempests, and 17 Blink Stalkers. Now he is using some of these Blink Stalkers at the right side, which I like, because you gotta attack at where the Broodlords are not at, right? But at the same time, Solar does have, you know, mobile army of his own with these speedlings. He's gonna do another counterattack while Hurricane is attacking on his base. These lurkers though will have to push back. Oh my god, I don't think Hurricane is aware. He's not paying attention. He is kind of right now focused on the fight at the bottom side, the left side here, and he will lose every ground units. Oh my god, I think Solar has his grip on Hurricane's neck right now. Hurricane desperately trying to get some more bases, but these links just keeps denying it. And then another base going down for Hurricane to these Broodlords. So Hurricane just starving in terms of money. You can look at the resources right now. Pretty down. Although as I say that, looks like Solar has not made a lot of drones at the same time. Only stuck at 66 workers. Might wanna add some of that back. But still, it kind of still can't deny how good Solar's army is. But at the same time, you know, slowly but surely he's added some Tempests, 4, 5 Tempests, not too shabby, but I think he needs a bit more to kind of like at least one-shot Broodlords maybe. Or actually, I think they do. I'm not sure actually how many Tempests it takes to kill or one-shot a single Broodlord, but this should be enough actually. Never mind. Okay, it looks like Hurricane is kind of like kind of building out his army to kind of counter this this army of Solar. Actually, as I say this, how many lurkers? Only 5 lurkers left. Huh. Never mind. Actually, as I take a look at this, I'm actually favoring Hurricane's position. He's got a good decent amount of Archons. A lot of Tempest with that Tempest upgrade as well. And Solar, although he does have those Broodlords and Corruptors and Viper, a lot of it also is in these links, which doesn't really do too much at this point, right? I mean, they can still go ahead and deny bases, but I mean, right now Hurricane is securing his base with this huge scary army. Vipers will be able to yoink some of these Tempests. But you know what? I'm not sure, man, who is considered the head at this point, just from the look of it. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I do favor Hurricane's army though, just a tad. guess it will come down to the engagement. There's not a lot of Broodlords left over, actually. So he's going to go ahead and replenish that a bit. But the state of contention is all here at the right side. Pretty much the entire left side has been abandoned by both players. Okay, he's going to finally try to expand towards that. Nice job by Hurricane clearing out some of these creep tumors. Oh man, some additional adducts on these Tempests here. But there are no Spore Callers in the engagement. All the Spore Callers are on the backside. I think it would actually be really helpful if you can yoink those Tempests into these Spore Crawlers. Kind of a standstill by both players here. Now it's coming down to kind of a game of resources, right? Pretty much all the other bases has been mined out, or at least close to mined out. So these two bases here are going to be pretty important. And here we go. Looks like Solar. Oh my god, look at that spread on that Broodlord. Ooh. But is that enough? I think he's run out of Viper energy. There's only one Viper left, but that he doesn't have any energy to abduct any of the Tempests. It's looking quite scary for Solar, because I just don't think this is going to be enough. Broodlord, the majority of his army is Broodlords and Corruptors. He needs a bit more either Vipers, maybe even some Infestors, but he doesn't have a lot of Lurkers at the ground. And look at that ground army. Ugh. And this is a charged lot army taking out that huge important base there on the left side. Solar must be starving. He's pretty much got no resources to replenish his army. I mean, this is it. If he loses the bulk of his army, he has no way of remaxing. And you can see the income tab is kind of favoring in towards of the Protoss. All right, two carriers in the production tab. Looks like Hurricane is feeling pretty safe to start remaking those carriers. I mean, he does have quite a lot of Tempests left over. So I guess, yeah, I think carriers adding carriers back in will be pretty good, because this time around he does have those Archons. He does have those High Templars to snipe and storm those Corruptors. So a pretty good call for Hurricane. Oh wait, actually now he's suddenly transitioning back into Tempest. Interesting. All right, I guess he decided maybe I should get a bit more Tempest before I add in these carriers. In the meantime, a Link counterattack here at the, I guess, 4 o'clock base, you could say. And oh, there's gonna be some nice juicy probes. But at the same time, Hurricane's army here gonna go ahead and strike the left side. There is not any mining left over, so this is I mean, if Solar wanted to, he can just kind of sack this base without much losses. This one though, on the other hand, there was some minerals and gases left over, so there's a nice pick off there by Solar. He's gonna go ahead and retake that base that Hurricane once had. But oh my god, Hurricane, he is cornered. He does not want to be stuck here. These Broodlords gonna go ahead and shoot out their broodlings, but these Stalkers getting on top of these Broodlords. These Tempests as well doing a nice job, but Corruptors does clean out the rest of the army, and that forces a Hurricane. But Hurricane, I still say is a pretty okay. There is still 7 Broodlords left over, but if he can warp in some Blink Stalkers, but actually never mind. All the Archons are gone, so these Lings have free access, and to get on top of these Stalkers, Chargebot does join into the fight, but these Lings are so strong. They got the +3 melee attack and +3 armor as well. These Broodlords as adding some firepower, and all of a sudden, Solar has pushed Hurricane onto the back foot. These High Templars freshly warped in, does not have quite the amount of energy to do any storms, and Hurricane is just left with a bunch of Stalkers. But I mean, he can't blink on top of these Broodlords without the with the Lurkers and these old Speedlings getting on top of the Blink Stalker. So right now he's in the predicament. What does he do? He's trying to add in some Void Rays, but there are still a good amount of Corruptors left over. I mean, boy, we have some really great back and forth here. As the Lurkers are preoccupied on the left side, these Charizard will get on top of this base here. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, I was about to say, he doesn't want to ignore that base, because that is pretty much the only mining base left for Solar. And Hurricane has decided to go for a base raid. He has decided not to engage that huge Broodlord force and army by Solar. And I think that's the smartest play for him. That is a great move. Buying him some time, getting some economic damage done. And both of these players have pretty much no mining bases left. I mean, there is still a few mineral patches here, but I mean, this is pretty much mined out by both players. Solar can't even remake a base. He doesn't even have 300 minerals to make that hatchery. He's going to have to long distance mine at this point. And here we go. This might be potentially the last fight here, and all these charts are going to go ahead and clean up the rest of the ground army of Solar. And the question is, will Hurricane have enough air army? He only has, I think, a few Ward Rays left. Actually, no Corruptors to defend these Broodlords. These Broodlords are going to be flying to their deaths, and GG. Even though Solar has the overall higher army supply, he just didn't have any answer for those Void Rays. No resources to make Corruptors. And at that point, yeah, even though Solar had, I guess, more supply overall, but just doesn't have any attack army. So GG, what a great game there by both players. And the Hurricane ties it up 1-1. Ooh. That was quite the game there. What we have in store for game number 3, we shall see. It's going to be on Lightshade LE. All right. Let's see, is GSL still happening here? Okay, looks like GSL is still happening. Maru versus Beyond. All right, that definitely gonna have to recheck that game, because that's a sick matchup there. Mac G6 saying, sorry, I'm switching between feeds. No, I don't worry about it. I understand. I mean, Beyond versus Maru is a pretty enticing and on paper really fun to watch. So I don't. It's okay. I'm just glad you can tune in here as well. Do you know what a warning means? I am not sure what you're referring to. I'm not sure exactly what you're what you're talking about, but okay. Beyond got a warning for pausing for injury. Oh, okay. So this is my guess. But in GSL there are certain rules in which you can pause a game. Usually players will pause for a variety of reasons. Usually, sometimes it's technical issues. But it looks like from what you was sounding like, Beyond did pause it for a wrist injury or something that's bothering him while playing the game. I would say that might be it. That you're not supposed to pause the game for if you're like a little irritated, but I don't know, if you have a wrist injury or something, or a hand injury or elbow injury, and it's like kind of getting in the way of your play, I think you should be able to pause the game. I'm not sure, but I mean GSL has its own rules. I'm not sure exactly what the rules are, but that's my guess. Alright, so we're on Lightshade LE, and I believe Zombie Grub said this is also one of the shortest map, that similar to Submarine, that it takes 33 seconds to go across the map. And from the looks of it, yeah, it's a pretty short distance between each natural. So I could definitely see that. It'll be interesting to see what Hurricane goes for though, because Hurricane did go for the Glaive of Depths attack in that first game. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind if he brought it back for the for this third game. Now, granted, at the first game it did not work out for him, so maybe he shouldn't. Maybe he should go back to the Stargate opening that he did last game. And it looks like, yeah, he's. Oh, what am I saying? He is proxying. Of course, it is going to be a Stargate. Either that would have been or it would have been a proxy Twilight or DT Shrine. But yeah, looks like Hurricane gonna go ahead and proxy a Stargate, and this is so super close to that third base. So if Solar, I mean Solar could probably just not saturate that base for a little while until he can get some queens over there. But definitely he will have to have at least 2 queens at the natural to make sure that Oracle does not get a lot of drone kills. Solar gonna go ahead and dive in here. Since there is nothing happening right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the moment to just take a gulp of water. Make sure my throat is hydrated. So here we go. Some nice good water. Alright, so what do we have here? We have the first Oracle diving in here into the natural. Let's see how many drones he can get killed. I don't think he's going to get much, as there are 3 queens protecting this base. Only gets 2. Now, the most important thing is that he did not lose that Oracle, so there's always that potential that you can get more drones later on, or maybe even throw down some revelations to get some scouting, or a stasis ward to defend the third base. Second Oracle will be joining up with the first Oracle. This time around there is no spore color up yet for the third base, so we'll be able to get additional drone kills of 4 for a total of 6 throughout this whole game. And I guess he's going to go ahead and combine the first strategy of the first game and then the second strategy in the second game, and just go for a glaive follow-up. What do we really have here? Okay, look like we have 10 roaches. I mean, Solar is like on top of this. He's not playing around with Glaive of Depths. He is like tired of dealing with Glaive Adepts that he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna drone up as much. I'm just gonna go ahead and make all units to make sure I do not die to this stupid, annoying Glaive timing that Protoss keeps doing to me. Oh wow, I think we might have a little bit of an awkward base trade of some sort. These two armies just like bypassing one another. What is he doing? He is turning around. Oh my god. I would have just, I think I just would have gone for the natural. This might have been a bit of a mistake here. Oh my goodness, these roaches are lagging behind, but at least these lings get a decent surface area on these adepts. But these are still a lot of adepts here at the natural. They do shade into the main base. And in the meantime, these lings are going to go ahead and probably shut down this this third base. I am not sure. I think he should have gone for the counterattack because, you know, as good as adepts are, they're not really good at cleaning out buildings, right? Solar was like already at the front base of the Protoss natural. I'm not sure. I mean, he does lose 6 drones, but the bigger thing is that Hurricane did buy himself enough time to defense up. He is throwing down some additional shoe batteries, getting some mortals, getting that robotic spade to potentially get disruptors. I mean, if Hurricane can hold on here, he should be in a pretty good position. But there are still a lot of Zerg army here. Oh my goodness, Hurricane. I think he might have overextended. I don't think he should have moved out into the front like that. He kind of got a little bit surrounded there. And now these Ravagers are going to go ahead and bow all these shield batteries to death. He does have 3 sentries, but they're all pretty much out of energy. I think he only has like 1 force field left. There is a second Immortal to join up into the fight, but there are so many queens to transfuse these Ravagers, and it is slowly but surely overwhelming Hurricane. The army supply is like double the amount of Hurricane in favor of Solar, and Solar just streaming so many links. He is not remaking those workers. He is going for the kill at this point, and Hurricane desperately trying to hold off. There is one disruptor out here. If he can potentially get a decent hit, he might be able to, but he's going to have need a lot more hits for that. Okay, he does get a few of the queens here, but the Ravagers are still alive. And oh my god, these corrosive bottles kills all these retreating probes, and I think this natural has been forfeited. One last shield battery overcharge, but those corrosive bottles just kills that without a blink of an eye. And slowly but surely, wait, hold on. Is Hurricane holding? I think he is holding. Oh my goodness, that looks so scary for the Protoss, but I mean, it's still pretty close, right? Oh no, I think, never mind. I think Hurricane has done it. What a hold! What a hold! These disruptors just so clutch for Hurricane. Oh my goodness. How close was that, guys? Jesus. I think Hurricane did enough damage with those depths. Lowered the worker to like around 36 or so. And you know, remember, Solar did not remake those drones, so he was pretty much running on fumes at the tail end of that attack. Yes, somehow, some way Hurricane has managed to hold this off, but Solar does have his 3 bases. He can potentially drone back up, and he looks like he did. He has kind of caught back ahead by 10 workers here. So it's still not over yet. Hurricane is still not out of the gate. He did survive, but he's going to have to slowly get that 3rd base up and running here. And there's always still that threat of those disruptors getting damage over and over again. There is a lot of anti-air. There's a few queens, but not enough to decisively snipe that Warp Prism. So this Warp Prism can just fly around with this Disruptor and just keep killing, keep shooting orange balls at the Zerg. And by golly, do we want to shoot orange balls at everything, all our enemy, right? What a great feeling that is. Anyhow, it looks like he's going to go ahead and go for the Spire to counter this. Once again, these Adepts still getting a lot of damage done. This is not what you see every day. 11 minutes into the game, you do not see a lot of Protoss relying on mass Adepts at this point. They usually have transitioned to something else because, you know, mass Adepts are just not great late game units. So, I mean, they're good like to the early to the mid game, but these Hurricane just, of course, made all those Adepts to make sure he survived earlier on, making use of it, getting some additional kills. Let's take a look back here at the units lost. I feel like it looks, I guess the Protoss has lost double the amount of gas, but the mineral count, the mineral losses are pretty even. Oof, but this army, this Hurricane army is looking pretty scary, especially with that addition of those Disruptors here. What does Solar have? He does have a good amount of Corrosive Bows, but only 4 Queens, not a lot of Transfuse energy. This is going to be pretty hard to hold on to. Oh my god, nice little flank here by the Zerg army. Look at that concave. Oh my goodness, but is it enough? The Colossus is still standing here. The Warp Prism is still warping in units. Oh, Corrosive Bow does catch that, which is nice, but the rest of the ground army of the Zerg looks to be dwindling down. There are still 2 Colossus, still 2 Immortals, but there are no reinforcements at this point. The only reinforcement is at this bottom side. This dirt base under fire. Drones being pulled. This is the last stand of Solar. He's gonna have to clean this up. I think he just barely has enough to clean this up. No more. Again, that Warp Prism was sniped off during the battle, so there is a very late, or if not any, reinforcements. And Solar does barely hold on here. Keeps that 4th base, that 4th hatchery alive compared to the 2 bases of Hurricane, which is so important. And Solar will go up 2-1. All right, this has turned into quite the series, boys and girls. Hurricane is 1 loss away from going home, and Solar just 1 game away from advancing to the finals. But of course, if Hurricane does win this next game, then it goes to that deciding last match and to decide who will take it all, who will take the series. Catharsis saying Hurricane does good in ITaX usually. Yep, I gotta agree. He usually put up some great games, some good performances in these events. Oh, hello, Zawjern. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your ID correctly. Sorry if I butchered it. Mac G6 saying, and thanks for taking the time to do the casting. No problem. No problem at all. And everyone messes up too. Yeah, I am bad at name pronunciation, because some of these ID names are quite difficult. Hey, Neo. All right, so here we go. Pillars of Gold, spawning at the bottom left. He's the red Zerg player from Kaisi Gaming, one win away from clinching this series. Can he do it? It is Solar. And spawning here at the top right, he's the blue Protoss player from Team LP. Give it up for Hurricane. Alright, so once again, sending that early probe, blocking that natural hatchery, forcing the Zerg to plot it down here at the 6 o'clock base. So a little bit of a slight win there for Hurricane. That's going to force her Solar to transfer all his drones long distance to start mining. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not huge, but if you look at the smaller level, it can add up. All right, so we've seen kind of the Stargate and the Glaive of Depths builds from Hurricane these past few games, but the question is, will he change it? Will he add maybe go for Dark Shrine this time, or maybe just go for a Archon drop, or maybe go for a Disruptor opening? Just go for that Disruptor drop with the Warp Prism speed. I think that has been kind of making its way into the meta. I think when Zound and GSL started to introduce and pull out that build and showed how successful it could be, I think a lot of Protoss really liked it. So the idea is that you open up with some sort of a small harassment, right? Whether it's maybe it's you initially make an Immortal to drop, or maybe, you know, drop some 2 Adepts. Just kind of distract the Zerg, and while you make your way to the Warp Prism speed upgrade, as well as the 2 Disruptors. And then once it's done, you just move across the map and try to get as much damage as you can get. And if you can get enough damage, you can actually follow up with like, I don't know, like a bunch of gateways and go for a 2 base all in. But you can also, it's really flexible. You can transition into a third base, a third Nexus, and get Colossus behind it. So very, very flexible and strong, solid build, I would say. And I think that's why a lot of Zerg has been implementing in the ladder and the tournament games. This time around, though, it's still going to be once again that Glaive of Depths build. And oh, gotta go back to mining here. A little bit of a mistake. Okay, there we go. But yeah, Solar does get full scout on this, so he should theoretically be prepared. He's throwing that down that Roach Warren immediately, because he's definitely going to need those roaches to defend against this. And there's a pattern. Every time he sees the Glaive of Depths opening by Hurricane, he has stopped workers at 41. And it seems like that's going to be the kind of the ballpark of where Zergs are gonna stop making drones, because they don't want to die to this Glaive of Depth attack here. And that's one of the few reasons, right, why Protoss loves going for this builds, because first of all, it forces a lot of units, right? It is also has the potential of killing a lot of drones. But even if it doesn't kill a lot of drones, you've already made some economic impact by forcing the Zerg to go for a lot of units instead of drones. And then the question is, can you hold on to that counter attack? That if the Zerg decides to do so. But oh my God, Solar does sneak in with a few speedlings here. Some nice catches. At the same time, he is pretty okay. I mean, he's got a decent amount of roaches. And so far, Solar eking out small wins here and there. But there is a War Prism drop into the main base. At the same time, Glaive Adepts shades into the third base. Some nice little picks off, some nice little moves here coming out of Hurricane. And he is not done yet. He is warping him some additional Adepts, forcing Miss Mining Time from Solar. At the same time, he is still waiting, biding his time with this with this small group here at the right side. Hurricane is basically kind of microing two fronts. All right, let's see how many total drone kills he has gotten after cleaning this up. All right, so total of 13 drones. It's okay, but I still think he needs a bit more, especially since he doesn't have a third Nexus. Once again, he is researching that Warp Prism speed, which is about to be done. And it looks like he has transitioned to disruptors. Where are those disruptors? All right, there we go. Okay, will he recall? I think he should recall and just like start lifting up those disruptors to move across the map. All right. Here we go. The 2 disruptor drops. We've seen how this was so productive for him. He got some nice juicy kills in the previous time he did disruptor drops. Now let's see if he can do so once again. Ling's trying to find some opening here. Won't get too much done. But once again, this disruptor drop gonna be pretty annoying for Solar. But this time around, he is already prepared. He is going for that Spire, making sure that he does not have to deal with that. 1 Mealist is all you need, or even 1 Corruptor is all you need to kind of push this away and scare the Protoss away. But actually, he's going for 10 Mealist. He is actually pretty committed to this. Looking to probably go across the map to get on top of the mineral lines, and I don't know if the Protoss has seen this. Let's see. Where's that spy? Okay, there we go. Okay, he has seen it, so I think he's just going for the he went for the blink. He's plotting down a lot of cannons to. Oh my God. It is these times where we wish that Adepts are fatter, right? Oh my God. These Lings just getting so many openings, getting so many kills here. Actually, you know what? Hasn't gotten that much kills, but I think the main attack here is the point of contention. Where is the Zerg army? Okay, look like they're going for a base trade here. I mean, Solar recognizing he is going for Mealist, so that is probably the best units to go for a base trade. But to be honest, I feel like he could have just gone on top of this army. It's not quite a scary army here, it seems. But anyhow, we are going with the base trade after a crazy last game. This is again another crazy game. Recall by Hurricane will save his main base, but the damage has been done. He's down to 13 workers. I mean, there are still a few Adepts here, but that should be cleaned up fairly soon with these Mulists. And Solar sitting happy at 43 to 13 workers. And this is why Mulus is so good in base trades because they're just so mobile. And what can Hurricane do at this point? There's really nothing much. He only has 5 Stalkers in his main army against that many Mulus. And I think he knows it. He knows that he's GGing out. And Solar with a solid, dominant 3-1 win over Hurricane. We'll advance to the finals to face the winner of our next semifinals, which will be Armani versus Dream. So make sure you don't want to miss that, because it should start in about a few minutes once we get the map videos done. But in the meantime, before we get into the map videos and get into the lobby and get into the game and all that, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a break here, about a 3-minute break. But before we go ahead and put the 3-minute timer up, just want to go ahead and give a shout out to one of our amazing sponsors in Carhartt. Carhartt makes some great durable, I guess, workwear that you can wear in your everyday life, whether you are going out for some for I guess for work, or if you are going out to run some errands and you need some workwear. I mean, Carhartt is pretty trusted and reliable. So in order to let you know what Carhartt is all about, let's go ahead and take a little short. Let's watch a little bit of a short clip here by our very own Captain Canuck, and then after that, we should be back in about 3 minutes or so. All right. So don't go anywhere. See you soon.
Today's awesome content has been brought to you by our sponsor, Carhartt. At Carhartt, every day is Labor Day because Carhartt never takes a day off from celebrating hardworking people like you. Since 1889, they've been building gear that has your back 24/7 with tough and trusted workwear like this. From running repairs to running errands, their men's mid-weight hoodies keeps you comfortable on the move. It's made of sweat-wicking fabric that's cut to give your arms a full range of motion. Its full zip layer also fights job site stains so it can last through several seasons of hard work. They're also built with Force technology to wick sweat and dry fast. The fast dry technology wicks away sweat, while the stain breaker technology releases stains. So be sure to check out our events page for their sponsor quest, or visit them anytime at carhartt.com. Now back to the games.
right, welcome back, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right back in. We have ourselves Armani versus Dream. First map will be on Pillars of Gold. Not PVT. ZVT. Let's go ahead and introduce our first player here. On the top right is the blue Zerg player from Africa Freaks. It is Solar. I mean, not Solar. Armani. And spawning here at the bottom left, we have the red Terran player from a team of Brave Star Gaming. It is a Dream. And I'm going to actually linger a little bit here just because I do got to say, this has got to be one of my favorite logos, team logos. Looks pretty cool with the bear in the front, right? We got the eagle on the left side, and then I think that's like a jaguar or lion or something in the right side. And I gotta say, it looks pretty darn cool. Okay, so we got ourselves a TVZ this time. The one thing I actually wonder is, we have seen Protoss move out early to block that natural of the Zerg, but we don't, for some reason, see that quite as often, I think, in TVZ. And I feel like maybe in due time, maybe they'll start doing that a bit more. But I don't know. Just feels like it's not as common in the TVZ for some reason. Alright, Adept will go ahead and poke away a little bit. But when you're a pro level Zerg player like Armani, the idea is that you lose little to no drones or lings to this initial Reaper. Now, of course, if you're, bronze level, then maybe so, but I mean, these players are high caliber, so just don't expect a drone or a ling to go down. Maybe a ling or two, but oh my god, this this Reaper is so annoying. Oh my god, will he actually catch that? Okay, I was about to say. Oh my god, he will. Oh, okay. Oh, that was actually pretty close. Whew. What do we have here for our Dream, though? He's gonna go ahead with the 1-1-1 build. Tech Lab added to the barracks. We'll see if that does switch over to the starport for maybe some Ravens or Banshee, or maybe even possibly Battlecruiser. Or if he's just going to go ahead and just research STEM. Now, just by the placement of it, it seems like, yeah, he's going to research STEM instead, because usually if you want to switch over, the starport will be a bit closer to the barracks. But because it's not as close, kind of the assumption is that he's not looking to switch over. Instead, it looks like he's going for a medevac. We might actually have ourselves a medevac Hellion drop against Armani here. He doesn't have quite the vision here at the right side. There actually is one Overlord, but it's kind of far out. If the medevac can bypass it, this could spell disastrous for Armani, as there is absolutely no vision. Will he seize that? Oh my god, it's just barely out of the vision of Armani. This is going to be... Okay, I think he got some hint of it, or at least the timing of it. But he is going to go ahead and send some links here. How many drones can Dream take down before he got to retreat into the medevac, though? Looks like he... Oh, there's no WCS, it seems like. But anyhow, 8 drone kills. Game Heart is not on, by the way, guys. Looks like someone... we're going to have to fix that in the next game. But 8 total drone kills thus far for Dream, which is pretty good, I gotta say. That one did not get as much kills, unfortunately, but it does get... Oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. We got some additional drone kills. Looks like Dream is just not letting up. He's continuously going for that Hellion harass. Oh my god, is he gonna lose that? Just barely. 6 health points on that medevac. But yeah, he is basically killed 14 workers, which is pretty good, especially before the 6-minute mark. I mean, but Armani has been droning like a madman, so he is still, despite losing that many drones, ahead by about 8 or 10 workers. But Dream, his army is scary. He's got stim on those Marines, starting to make those tanks. I'm assuming that once his +1 attack is done and his +1 armor is done, he should move out for a timing attack, I would assume. But in the meantime, Banelings being made for Armani. Wait, did he cancel that? Okay, never mind. I thought he would cancel that centrifugal hooks, but he just finished centrifugal hooks. That will definitely help him during this engagement. And then look at that, killing the rocks. Knowing that if the Terran parked on behind that rocks, it gets so hard. But Dream, he's hitting a bit early, so Armani won't be able to completely kill the rocks. He's gonna have to make sure he splits correctly, as there is always that potential of dropping into the main base. Looks like Armani going for a counter attack of some... No, never mind. He is going for a loop around to get a little bit of a flank and a sandwich onto this tank army. And there we go. Lanes get on top of the tanks. Banelings hit the Marines. It's going to force Dream to drop behind the tanks, but by then the tanks are already gone. And well done there by Armani. Nice hold. And we'll even get another medevac on the retreat. So Armani looking to be in a strong position here. I mean, it's still not over yet. The supply is still relatively close, but I mean, defending against that while ahead 80 to 63 workers. I think he will take it any day of the week. But there is a nice little counterattack here by Armani. He noticed that the army is out in the middle of nowhere, so nice little counterattack. Splits his forces to the dirt base as well as the natural. We'll take a look at how many SCVs goes down right after this attack, but I'm guessing that, yeah, he got a few SCVs here and there. I think the majority of it was killing the kind of the Marines that were kind of transferring over. Nice Baneling connection on the front lines here. A few Banelings at the top side or the right side. Does connect on the tank instead though, so a little inefficient. But Armani did at least dwindle some of the initial frontline Marines with those Baneling connections. So Armani, I believe he did make that infestation pit, did he? I think I saw it somewhere on the... Yeah, there we go. So he's going to go ahead and seems like he's going to go for some early Ultralisk. He's going to have to morph that into a hive, of course. Stanos in the chat saying, why can't I cast this to the TV? Maybe that's not a feature Trovo has yet or something. I'm not sure. I don't have any experience of casting to TV, so I unfortunately can't help you. Maybe someone in the chat can help you if they have more experience with that. But Neo just asking, is these games played live? Yes, these are live right now. Anyhow, we do see a little bit of a hectic, chaotic few moments as there is a marine drop, as well as a big attack at the bottom side, the 6 o'clock base. Oh my God, Marines on top of a creep will get some connections for Armani with those banelings, but he's still got to clean up and deal with this annoying drop here at the top side. But Armani is looking to push across the map. There's not a lot of defenses here, I gotta say. This planetary is not even up yet. Getting another tank. I think he's decreased the amount of tanks to only 1 tank out in the field. And that is going to be the indicator for Armani to dive on top of this dirt base. And I think Armani, getting some nice SCV kills there. He's just all over the place, just killing everything left and right. Dream is just scrambling to at least be in a stable position, but he is going to have to lift off that dirt base until he can solidify it. But there are links streaming across the map consistently. The good thing is that there are no banelings yet. And some nice Widow Mines connection actually will be able to scare these links away. A few scary seconds there for Dream, as it looked like Armani was gonna swarm, literally swarm the Terran here, but I think he should be okay. But right now, you gotta wonder, is Armani relying too heavily on just Ling and Banelings? He's been stuck on Ling and Baneling tech for the longest of time. My thought or my theory was that he was just buying time to tech into Ultralist, but no, his Ultralist then is not even up and running, and Dream will take that game 1. As it seemed like Armani was just too Baneling and Ling happy. There was just no transition in the work to work towards to, because it's not too uncommon to see Zerg just stick with Ling and Banelings for a long time, as long as they're teching to something higher, whether it's Lurkers or whether it's Ultralists. But we just didn't see that from Armani. He was just getting a lot of efficient but also inefficient trades. I think at the tail end of that attack, he got a lot of inefficient trades, losing a lot of Lings to those Widow Mines. Just wasn't great. He did get some nice Baneling hits at the third base with onto the SAV line, but besides that, not too efficient trades at the natural area. Kayuri in the chat saying rooting for Dream because he doesn't want a ZVZ finals, and I understand. Yeah, I think mirror matchups aren't people's favorite, or the majority of people's favorite matchups. So I feel ya. Of course, Solar from the other semifinals did advance to the finals. So if Armani did win this, we will have ourselves a ZVZ. But yeah, if Dream does win, then we're gonna have ourselves another TVZ, which I wouldn't mind actually. Again, because that's my favorite matchup to watch. So I wouldn't mind it. But here we go. Second game will be on the map of Death Aura, and here we go. Spawning at the bottom right. Let's go ahead and start this side. Bottom right is the red Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. And spawning at the left top side is the blue Zerg player, hailing from Korea and also hailing from the team of Afrika Freaks. Make some noise for some Armani. Unfortunately, Trovo doesn't have any command bots yet, so the match we know Link won't be able to respond to that command. But if you look at the below the player, the video player, there is the information page or the information section. It has the bracket as well as the Matcherino page that you can go to, and as well as the coupon code. The coupon code is AX179. You enter that coupon code, you can donate and contribute 50 cents for free. You don't have to pay out of pocket. That's one of the great things about Matcherino. Is a great tool to help supplement prize pool for the esports community and esports events. So yeah, let's go. If you can take advantage of that, enter the coupon code, give some free 50 cents. At some point it will add up, of course, and help out the players, because these players are putting up some great games thus far, and they should definitely be rewarded. But of course, we are once again on Death Aura. This is one of the maps, the older maps, very familiar, and I think most people are comfortable with it by now. However, there is a large surface area, so you will definitely see a lot of Reapers taking advantage of that. But is there a Reaper out? I think he just skipped it. Let me go ahead and make sure. Yeah, he opened up with a Marine instead, as he is gonna go ahead and invest that extra gas into a faster factory as well as a faster reactor. So looks like Dream has something up his sleeve involving Hellions. Now, it could be the same Hellion drop as last game, but hit a bit quicker. We shall see. It looks like the starport has yet to arrive yet. Okay, there we go. Finally, the starport does get thrown down, and the switch off, the building switch off, does commence. 2 Hellions in the production tab. So far, I don't think Armani has scouted this yet. Yeah, now he's just gonna finally scout it. Oh, there's actually no second supply depot, so this thing will have open door policy into Dream's base end and get some necessary scouting. And immediately is throwing down a spine crawler. All right, he is going for the fusion core here, switching it up. Now, for the longest time, for quite a period of time actually, battle cruiser openings were the thing. It was like such an amazing. I was like seeing every Terran go for it in every TVZ. Nowadays, it has died down by quite a bit. I think Zerg players were just so wary of the timing of the battle cruiser that they started making sure to get a bunch of queens, right? They get like a lot of queens. They build up their energy, and they kind of anticipate it as a way to defend against the battle cruiser. And I think because of that, it has kind of deterred Terrans from going to battle cruiser openings. But Dream has no problem bringing it back, and looks like this Overlord will have full vision of that starport and tech lab. Now the question is, will he have? Yeah, he does see the fusion core from the other Overlord, it seems, so he knows what's up. In the meantime, though, Armani still has to deal with this group of Hellions. Some of these lanes getting a little bit clumped up. Oh, brilliant play there, turning that into an evolution chamber to block off the Hellion escape path. Oh my god, another building being placed to block off the escape path of the Hellions, and Dream is like sad face, crying face. Unfortunately, he loses all his Hellions, which means Armani is free to just spread the creep as freely as possible, and also not have to worry about Hellion harassments. He can just drone up like crazy. He doesn't need to build any more links, and he's just immediately throwing down that spire in anticipation of that battle cruiser. That battle cruiser will be making his first teleport into between the natural and the main, and this is going to allow the queens to get on top of it. All the queens, gotta make sure not to get all queens attacking him at the same time. And look at that. This is exactly what I was talking about, how Zerg has really adapted to this battlecruiser play. In the meantime, a roach counterattack here will be taking out some Marines, but this tank should be able to be enough to thwart this back and at least clean it up. And this battlecruiser just hasn't got any damage done, really much. Yeah, once that spire is up, yeah, he's gonna have access to making all those corruptors. Maybe, I think he could even make some Mutalisks. There's only one battlecruiser, it hasn't really done too much. Wouldn't mind seeing him just make a bunch of Mutalisks, although he is quite low on gas, so I don't think he is quite there yet. Has held that off. In the meantime, he is anticipating this attack, investing those gas into centrifugal hooks, as well as +1 flyers. He knows that he's gotta defend this attack in order to make the game last long enough for him to get those Mutalisks out. And this attack is going to go ahead and get on top of this fort base. Baneling speed not quite done yet. He might have to just cancel that base. A great timing attack here by Dream. I gotta say, he's attacking him at the point where he doesn't have any Baneling speed. He doesn't have any Mutalisks out in the field. So if he wanted to, he could have actually flew the army into the main base if he wanted to. But at this point, you don't really quite know as Terran, right? Unless you scan each base and see Mutalisks popping out somewhere. But right now, he just under the assumption that there were Mutalisks on the way, or at least maybe a few out in the field. But I'm gonna go ahead and group up here on the left side, go for a secondary attack while this battlecruiser is pew away at this 1 o'clock base. Once again, getting the cancel on the hatchery, but look at here, Armani trying to get the counterattack, but Dream smartly leaves some army behind to defend against that. Oh man, Mac G6 wondering if Armani is AFK. I think he is just wondering what to do against this, because this is quite the scary Terran force, and Dream is just so on top of it. He's anticipated even the counterattack by those lings. And Armani is going to have to get something done with these Mutalisks, because right now he is quite far behind with that really late fourth base. I mean, on Dream's side, he's already got his fourth command center about up and running. This hatchery still trying to be made, and look at the creep spread. It has really recessed down to the Zerg side, which is never a great thing. You want to get as far to the Terran side as possible. Here we go. Once again, Armani going for the counterattack, but once again, Dream is anticipating it. He is always leaving a few Marine army behind to make sure he doesn't die to any Ling counter harass and any Ling run by. Basically loses a bunch of Lings to a bunch of Marines. I think Armani is just losing grip of this game slowly but surely. This kind of setup here by Dream is really good. All these tank spread, look at that, really nice distance, so the Banelings doesn't clump up on top of a group of tanks. And already Armani is just, I think this is pretty much the best call he has right now. He just can't defend this base, especially with the setup and the positioning of the Terran army. He needs to buy himself enough time to get as much army. He's making 32 links in the production tab. He's trying to catch the reinforcements, which is actually pretty good for him. Nice Baneling connection. This is the win that he needs. The question is it enough? Is it enough? He is going for that base trade here. Once again, a group of Marines is being left behind. Dream is just on top of it. He is basically on top of the Zerg army while pretty much defending this pretty efficiently. And there's just really nothing he can do. GG. Dream takes game number 2 and is 1 game away from reaching the finals. Thank you, Zogern, for the casting the 500 fire. And basically, Dream was on fire that game because, I mean, Armani just had no avenue, no openings he can abuse. Dream just plugged up all the holes and was able to overwhelm the Zerg player. Is this a rematch from GSL? I don't recall. It might have been. Oh yeah. I think they were in the same group, right? I think they were in the same group as Zound, if I remember correctly. Alright, so Dream gonna go ahead into this third game, looking to close out the series, but Armani's gonna have to reverse sweep if he has any chance of reaching the finals. Once again, guys, just a reminder that there is a Matcherino page for this event. If you look into the info section below the video player, you should be able to see that there is a Matcherino link as well as the coupon code AX176. Oh wait, actually, you know what? There's an updated one. Let me go ahead and update the link here. 1 second. All right, let's refresh that. There we go. Coupon code AX180. That's it. Let me go ahead and update that. Actually, you know what? I'll update that in between game here. The game has started, so let's go ahead and join our players. But as I think Sushi put into the chat or typed into the chat the new Matcherino link as well as the coupon code. So yeah, head on over there while this game gets started. Let's go ahead and get started with our lovely players here at the top left corner of the map. He is the blue Zerg player from Africa Freaks, looking to get his first point on the scoreboard. It is Armani. And spawning here at the bottom right, we have our red Terran player from the team of Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. So I'm not gonna lie, every time I see Dream play and there's a game I'm casting, I have this kind of this urge to make a I have a dream speech by Martin Luther King and just come up with a dream that I have. Whether it's maybe because I'm a Protoss player, so I like, you know, I have a dream that one day Blizzard will make pylons warp in the same amount of time as a pylon next to a gateway and nexus. Because you know how a pylon next to that is next to a gateway and a nexus is they have faster warp-ins, right? Like 5 seconds or something like that. And then if you don't have it attached to a nexus or a gateway, it's a slow warp-ins. So as a Protoss player, I always have been annoyed by the really slow warp-in time. So that's one of my dreams. Of course, all the Zergs and Terrans like, no, never happening. No way. But hey, it's my dream. Anyhow, we have another 1-1 build here from Dream. Will we see that battle cruiser opening once again? Looks like no, because the tech lab is actually pretty late for that, I think. Starport is about to be done. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and change it up just a tad. Neo just saying it used to be the same warp in time. Yeah, it used to be the warp in time no matter where you put the pylon, but Blizzard nerfed it because it kind of took away the defender's advantage. Yeah, they basically didn't want Protoss to continue their aggressive cheeses, so they kind of made sure, or at least try to nerf that a bit. I mean, you can still proxy a gateway, but you gotta have to commit to 150 additional 150 minerals, and you gotta wait for that gateway to finish. All right, this time around we're gonna have ourselves a Hellbat timing here. There are a total of 5 queens out on the field. I'm wondering if that's enough. He might need a bit more, but banelings are being morphed in. The medevac actually got sniped off, so really good start for Dream. And you know what? He didn't even need these banelings, I don't feel like. And just a solid defense there by Armani. Just losing absolutely no workers. And for some reason, he's so happy and so fulfilled and so joyful from that win that he just went ahead and just hit and sniped at his spawning pool. He was like, yeah, damn right. That was a boss hold there. That was a boss defense. Alright, so far, what does Armani go from here? He held that pretty flawlessly. I mean, at this point, he can pretty much go for anything, right? You can go for Spire into Meatless play. He could go maybe into Lurker play at this point. His lair is about to be done, so we should see what tech he is going to go for once that lair is done. In the meantime, he can just drone up like a madman. He can start just creeping up like crazy. There's really nothing much that Dream can do at this point because he just lost all his units from that attack in the beginning. So he doesn't have much units to do anything about it. He is going to go ahead and attempt a medevac drop. Now that was scouted a bit by the Lings. The question is, did he notice it? Did Armani notice that medevac? That medevac. He does have the spore cars to defend there, but it doesn't look like he's moving his army towards that side. So I guess he just wasn't paying attention at that moment. Does take down the queen there. Nice focus firing on those banelings. Central Figo Hook's not quite done yet. And interestingly enough, or actually, never mind. I was about to say he's actually got his 4th base up in the closer position. But I gotta say, this is not the base that you want to expand to, because once tanks gets there, siege up there, it gets so hard. So I actually prefer and suggest that Zergs do expand here and then just kill out the rocks here. But he is not killing the rocks, as he is busy trying to play cat and mouse with this little medevac harass here. In the meantime, Terran army is going to move out, hitting at the time where the spy is just about done, which is the great timing. He doesn't want to attack once mules are out, because then he has the potential of losing his medevac during the retreat pad, right? So if he can attack and hit the Zerg at its weakest points before he can get all these mutalists out, then that's a pretty good win there. But look at this. He is already setting up a nice little 360 surround somewhat. And going to go ahead and get on top of these tanks. Banelings doesn't really connect on the Marines, but he just has so much. He doesn't even really need those Baneling connections to clean up the rest. This medevac will go ahead and meet the scary little spine crawler here. We'll have to fly into the main base instead. Main base doesn't have actually a lot. Actually, no, he does send some links there, so don't really anticipate that doing too much. But this attack by Dream is still commencing here. I think he is a little bit over eager, as Armani just has so much Banelings. 21 Banelings additionally being added to the army. At the same time, drop commencing at the top side. But I think a lot of his focus here is on... Oh, actually, he is going to go ahead and just give up this base. I'm not sure if he should have. I think he could have cleaned it up if he wanted to, but he is going to go ahead and play it safe, and we'll go ahead and expand to the top side, morphing in some additional links and banelings. And now, look at that siege tank positioning. That's so good. Armani going to go ahead and opt for the counterattack, and this is oh, no, actually, you know what? He's just going to go for a little bit of a wraparound here. And all of a sudden, Dream enjoying a 185 to 135. He is ahead by 50 overall supply here, and he is pushing forward. He smells blood in the water, and he is going to go ahead and try to take out Armani. But Armani is coming in with so much Banelings here, clean up the rest of these tanks, but additional group of Marines here, and they are fighting off of creep with some nice spread, even a Liberator to join the fight. And Dream is just so good. We'll take out Armani 3-0 convincingly and move on to the finals to face off against Solar. Question in the chat saying, how is Armani always behind Dream in supply? I think because Dream was just kept on applying pressure, kept on with the harass. Even with the failed attack in the beginning, he sent Liberators to siege up in the bases. He kept dropping with his medevacs and Marines, and he just kept on the pressure of Armani, and Armani just felt like he was kind of falling apart slowly but surely. And especially, I think after losing that 4th hatchery, that was kind of like the huge turning point. Dream was just able to out macro Armani at that point, and yeah, that was pretty much GG. All right, so that means we're gonna go ahead and move on to the finals with Dream and Solar. Now let's see if Solar can have a better outing and showing compared to Armani. We shall get that all set up, but before that, we're gonna go ahead and get into a little bit of a break, maybe a 2-minute break, and then we'll be right back with our next series, which will be the finals. So stay tuned. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Our newest sponsor, Wicked Cuts, will blow out your taste buds with their premium craft jerky. And they have something for everyone. For naturalists, try their original peppered beef jerky or teriyaki turkey. Both are made with 100% natural ingredients and are gluten-free. Looking for something tender and mellow? Try the orange teriyaki beef and applewood bacon jerky which are sure to hit your sweet spot. For the truly wicked, you can run the Heat Gauntlet, from sriracha-style bacon to volcanic jalapeno beef. If you can handle those, you might be ready to RIP into a bag of wicked hot Carolina Killer, spiced with Carolina Reaper, Scorpion, and Ghost Peppers. Not only are they sponsoring this tournament with quests, but they are offering a limited discount code of esports25 for 25% off for a short period of time. Go check out their products on Matrino's quests, and be sure to use the code esports25 at the checkout for that additional 25% off. Thank you, Wicked Cuts, for supporting our esports tournament and being the tender side of jerky.
Welcome back, guys. Glad to have you here with us as we're about to begin the finals, the best of 7 series between Dream and Solar. Now we're going to have ourselves another TVZ once again, but we'll see if Solar can show a better outing, as you know, Dream just looks so dominant, going for a 3-0 in that last series against Armani. We're gonna go ahead and set up the first game here. It's gonna be on Submarine LE. So I'm gonna go ahead and it seems like for me, Submarine has become one of the fan favorites for some reason. Maybe it's either the aesthetics or maybe it's just a great map, but I don't know. Either way, here we go. Let's go ahead and get into this game. Firstly, spawning at the top left corner of the map is the red Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. And spawning here at the bottom right, hailing from Kaizi Gaming, give it up for Solar. And off to start, we're going to have ourselves some cheeky build here coming out of Dream. He want to go ahead and start this off with a bang. And I gotta say, this is actually a pretty good proxy locations. Terran players out there, and please note this, because the one great thing is that if the drone does, or the Overlord does scout the proxy, then the drones can't hit and nibble away at the SCV if the SCV is like on the top side, right? So I mean, you're gonna have to pull your drones and hit from here, and then go around and hit from here, which no smart Zerg player is gonna do, right? So there's really nothing you can do at that point to stop the SCV from building. Now, what the Zerg can do is he can still protect his natural by making sure that the bunker is not being thrown down. Unfortunately for Solar, I think he does not realize that this is coming. I mean, he hasn't yet scouted this. He didn't send his Overlord to the top side, but he does see the Marine SCV here with the second Overlord. A little bit of delay here on the bunker, even catching a one of the SCVs. So this is off to a pretty good start here for Solar, and all he needs to do is make sure that SCV does not complete that bunker. Just needs to focus fire with that queen on the SCV if he can. Oh my god, he does not want to let that finish. Oh my god, it does finish. The good thing for him is that there is only one SCV. Oh no, actually, never mind. Additional SCV being pulled here for Dream, and all of a sudden, what looked to be like a pretty easy hold has gone to being a quite difficult hold. If that second bunker goes up, then Dream, I think, will pull out this win, because Solar is gonna lose a lot to these Marines and the bunker as well. Oh my god, little groups of Ling just dwindling down, and all of a sudden that second bunker is finished. One queen goes down, no Ling out. Oh man, this is looking quite dire for our blue Zerg friend here. The hatchery is just slowly dying off. Solar just waiting for the last minute to dive on in. Will he just let this go, or will he try to defend this? It looks like he's going to go ahead and try to defend this, but the good thing is that there is no more SCVs out here to rebuild these bunkers. But still, there is one bunker left over, another SCV being pulled from the main base to travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Zerg Pokemon that he can understand, the power that's inside, he is gonna use that power to kill off this hatchery, as there is absolutely really nothing left over for the Zerg player. I mean, if Dream wanted to, he can even make another bunker if he decided to do so. But look at that Micro pulling the weakened Marines into the bunker. This last queen is gonna die. This hatchery will be sniped off. Pretty sure. And GG. Solar will tap out. And Dream takes a quick 1-0 lead here. Sushi in the chat saying Solar is known to be weak against proxies, and yep, that definitely showed it. That was one good example of Solar. What I thought it was if he could just snipe and focus fire the queen on the SCV, use the links to get on top of the Marines, he should have been able to deny that, but for some reason he just backed out and he just let the bunker go up, let the second bunker go up as well. That was a 2 racks. I'm pretty sure. Because the 2 SCVs that were building it went to the natural to build a bunker. So yeah, that was a 2 racks, and that worked out perfectly for Dream. He was able to pull out a quick win, and now the ball is in his corner. Solar is gonna have to try to tie this up. Now the good thing is that this is a best of 7, so plenty of opportunities. Being down to 0-1 is not quite as devastating as it is compared to, let's say a best of 3 or even a best of 5. Best of 7, being down 0-1, okay. I mean, still plenty of opportunities, plenty of chances to play out the series. Still long ways to go, right? So I am pretty sure Solar is not sweating in his seat. But anyhow, let's go ahead and introduce these players here. Spawning at the top right is the red Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. And spawning here at the bottom left is the blue Zerg player from Kaiser Gaming. Give it up for Solar. And already there, Dream is forcing Solar to be a bit paranoid. This time around, he is sending a drone out just to scout, make sure he does not get proxied a second game in a row. But looks like Dream has decided not to proxy. This time around, he is going to go ahead and place that bunker in his main base. I'm not going to lie though, I would have actually liked to see Dream go for a second proxy. I mean, like Sushi said, he is not the greatest against proxies. So I would love to see him give it a try. I mean, maybe later on as the series goes on, he might pull it back out. Go for a 2 racks proxy, or maybe even the 3 racks proxy later in the series. We shall keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, he's going to go ahead and plop down his factory. Looks like there's going to be a 1-1-1 build once again. Should be expecting that starport to be dropped down pretty soon. And here comes the first Reaper here. Will he get that drone? Oh, he does get a drone. Nice little cash there. You just don't see that every day, right? Zerg players are just so good at microwing their lings and drones that they rarely lose any to the first initial Reaper, but a little bit of a sloppy play will give up a drone. Now, this is not the end of the world. One drone is not going to really change this game significantly, but it's just a small little pickup and win there for Dream. Starport being thrown down, and it's kind of looking like the Hellbat play once again, maybe. I'm not sure. Actually, there's no armory out yet, so maybe not. Looks like it's going to be a Hellion Liberator. Oh. Okay, so I guess the idea is he's going to go ahead and harass the third or natural with the Hellions while sieging up the Liberator at the alternative bases, as the Hellions are distractions. Alright, Dream gonna go ahead and dive on in. There's actually not a lot of lanes here. Oh no. Oh no. Will these 4 drones get barbecued? 6 of them already does. Not looking quite good here for our fellow Zerg player. Oh my goodness. This is not what he wanted. Oh my god. Don't line them up. Don't line those drones up. Ooh. Alright, 7 drones in all in total, compared to the 4 Hellions and Reapers. Oh wait, actually, you know what? 8 total, actually, as he did lose that earlier drone to the Reaper. But Dream still not stopping and slowing down, because this Liberator gonna go ahead and force additional miss mining time by these drones. So all in all, let's look at the graphics of the income. And as you can see, Dream doing a really great job disrupting the mining and the economy of Solar. We'll take that economic advantage. Is it just me, or there was a little bit of a freeze there? Not sure if someone is lagging or not. So far, so good. Okay, there we go. Anyhow, looks like once again Dream gonna go ahead and try to dive in here with these Hellions. This again serving as a distraction for this Liberator. I gotta say, all of a sudden, I'm just like remembering the creep spread of Armani, and already Dream is doing a great. I mean, not Dream. Solar is doing a much better job in terms of the creep spread. But I mean, who cares about creep spread when you don't have no drones? Just gotta make sure not to lose too many drones. Losing additional 7 there. This Liberator will escape just barely, or maybe just get sniped off. Oh, it's gonna be a close one. Is there a main base queen there to snipe it off? Yeah, I should be taking him out, no problem. But yeah, Dream just being so annoying to Solar. Just harassing over and over again. So far, 15 drones going down. But it is time for Solar to do the counterattack. Does get a few Marines here out in the open, as well as 2 SCVs. So nice little pickoff, just not quite as much as 15 drones, unfortunately. So he's going to have to go ahead and try to find some additional openings. Looks like Solar will be transitioning into Baneling's Nest. Now the good thing for Solar is that his +1/1 is about to finish. So that is going to be pretty good for his lings. But on the other hand, Dream is also going to be finishing 1/1 pretty soon as well. So they're going to be, both players will be on even footing in terms of upgrade. But look at that creep spread, Jesus. I mean, Dream trying, valiant effort on Dream's part to clear out the creep, but once again, just plotting down more creep tumors immediately once they're sniped out. Solar's just on top of that. He is not missing a beat. Imagine if these acceleration zones did actually heal up the Medrack or the Marines a bit quicker. That would be pretty crazy. But anyhow, Centrifugal Hooks just finished, which will give Solar a better advantage in terms of these Banelings getting on top of these Marines. But oh my god, I just missed this big Ling counterattack here for Solar. We'll get 4 SCVs, not too big, but at least it does force the army of Dream to retreat back, which is a big, huge win actually. Might actually catch out these reinforcements, but nope. Just a bit too much on the ground here. I'm getting a little scared though for Solar, because he is doing good damage with these Lings, but I mean, he is down in army supply against 3 tanks. That's going to be a lot of splash damage if he can focus fire on that. And a nice little spread there. But with a little bit of a sandwich, these Lings will get on top of these Lings and clear them out. But I still got to say, I feel like Dream was a bit more cost efficient, even though Solar cleaned it up. I mean, he did push it or delay this attack, but look at the army supply. It's 65 to 41. I'm not sure if this secondary attack is going to be go a bit better. This time around though, he does have a nice group of queens here. Bane is rolling in, a nice little spread here by Dream, and oh no, even though the tanks are sniped out, there are no more Banelings left, no more answers for these Marines. And Solar, once again, like in the previous game, has to ditch one of his hatchery. Dream is just so good in the macro that, I mean, once it snowballs, it really snowballs. This is just insane, because Dream, I've always looked at Dream as one of those really great micro players, but he is showing his macro in this past game, or actually this past series and this game as well. Another hatchling being cancelled, and Dream is just all over the place, just attacking at the left side, attacking at the right side. Solar, though, he does buy enough time for at least a few lurkers, so this should at least theoretically help him defend this right side. Oh, although what can Dream do to bypass these lurkers? Well, he can drop, so this is a pretty smart idea, but Solar will go ahead and unburrow those lurkers. And look at this, he is just spreading his army into 2 army groups, which I like, because one of the better things you can do against lurkers is to make sure you can spread them. If you can kind of spread them, that means there's less lurkers in the one area, and if you have enough allocate enough army, you can get on top of those lurkers and clear them out, right? But here we go, Banelin's rolling in here. Let's get some nice, decent, solid connections, and Solar is going to be happy about that. But there is still another group of army here at the right side that he needs to contend with. These lurkers will go ahead and unburrow. Oh my god, is there a scan? Come on, go ahead and scan. No scan. Wow. A little bit of a blunder there by Dream. And that is going to go ahead and switch the momentum here in favor of Solar. And Solar will retake the overall army supply. A little few misses here coming out of Dream this past minute. A few botches. It's going to give Solar a lot of breathing room, and all of a sudden, I gotta say actually that Dream is looking to be the underdog heading into this second half of this game as we head and approach the 13-minute mark. Solar is doing really great in terms of the worker count, 93 to 69. He's got his upgrade up and running. He is down by 1, or actually he's okay. Actually, never mind. He's okay in the upgrade count. He's got the better tech as well, because he does have those lurkers. He's getting those hydros out. Got some decent amount of banelings here. And once again, Dream trying to push in, but he just doesn't quite have enough for these lurkers. Even Vipers joining into the fray. Get it off a 1 parasitic bomb. Not the greatest use of the Vipers, but hey, at least he does clean up the ground army force. And you know what? Throughout this whole game, right, Dream has been on the offense. He's been putting the pressure on Solar. And after these few little wins here by Solar, I think it's his moment to start putting on the hurt towards Dream. It should be him that's making the offensive moves, but I don't know. It looks like Solar is going to play it defensively for a few moments here. But I would love to see him just kind of spread or devote some of these lurkers to just go into one of the mineral lines or somewhat. But here we go. Lurker's going to go ahead and burrow on top of these tanks. And this is what I'm talking about. Go on the offense. You have the lurker count. You have the banelings. You have the hydralisks. So far, it looks like we're heading into kind of that late game, right? Terran is going to add in some additional liberators to help deal with those lurkers. Some additional drops here. Doesn't really get too much. But I think he's just kind of distracting Solar with this. Oh my god. You don't want to just lose it like that, though. In the meantime, another attack here at the left side. But again, these lurkers just so good. And there's really nothing Dream can do about it. But just loses Bao and entire army. And I mean, he needs something to deal with them. Either it's liberators or maybe some ghosts or something, because right now it's just not looking great for him. He's been losing the past few battles against the Zerg army. He is trying to, you know, to attack on different fronts, but Solar keeps just having, you know, either the right positioning or he just has a couple of lurkers positioned to deal with them like this. Really nothing Dream can do. And now Solar is getting on top of the kind of the, I guess, the third, fourth base of Dream. Oh, but actually, a nice little flank here by Dream. But the rest of the army of Solar does catch back up here, and now is knocking on the front gates. And Solar, I mean, I think he might just do it. It's looking pretty good for him. I mean, Dream kind of down all the way to two tanks left out in the field. That's just not going to cut it here. Yeah, this planetary has just no chance. And now Dream is starving. I mean, he does have that base on the top side, but a lot of his SCV has gone down. Just a great, brilliant use of these lurkers. And still no scan here for Solar, or at least he doesn't have enough to clean this up. Okay, there we go. He does scan. There's only 3 lurkers, but smartly Solar will retreat back home. Funnily enough, this tank has still alive. We'll finally get picked off here, but this tank has definitely paid off its due and its value. But overall, Solar in the end still ahead by almost 20 workers, over 20 workers here. He has so many bases. I just don't know what Dream can do. He's kind of reset it in terms of his units count. He only has 2 tanks, a bunch of his and 30 Marines, which lurkers are just so effective against because of that splash damage, right? And oh my god, oh no, these medevacs are gonna go down here. Dream just doing what he can, and I gotta give it to him because he's just not sitting back and waiting for the Zerg to get on top of his army with those lurkers. He's kind of trying to put on some hurt across the map, make the fight at the Zerg side of the base, but Solar just barely enough units everywhere. And now it's time for Solar to potentially force the GG, and there we go. GG. Dream will go down. Solar will tie up the series 1-1. All right, so Solar making this a series. At least he got 1 more win than Armani did in the last series. So already doing better. The question is, can he pull ahead? Can he break this 1-1 tiebreaker and get the lead? I wonder if Dream also will go ahead and pull out that proxy barracks cheese once again, because I feel like towards the late game, if it goes to a macro game, I would favor Solar. If it goes to the, I guess the early to mid game, I would favor Dream. I feel like Solar just has a better long game overall, has more experience as well. Dream, on the other hand, I think he kind of thrives on his his aggressiveness. He kind of forces the issue to make sure that the Zerg player is, makes some mistakes here and there, and that's how he usually gets his wins and victories. But we shall see. We shall see. It's going to be on Pillars of Gold, though. All right. Looks like maybe one of them needs to go to the bathroom or something. They wrote in Korean, so I have no idea. But we do have the players in the lobby, and I guess we're just waiting for Solar to be ready, and it looks like he is finally ready. Guys, please feel free to give us a follow. We bring a bunch of high-level content to this Trovo channel, whether it's the Alpha X series special that's casted every Tuesday, or if it's this Trovo weekly that is casted, I think, every Wednesday. Make sure to drop us a follow, get notified whenever we go live. If you haven't done so, yeah, you can actually create an account. It's pretty easy. Looks like Dream forgot to switch his race, or actually Solar forgot to switch his race. So we're gonna go ahead and remake that. But yeah, like as I was saying, feel free to give us a follow, get notified whenever we go live. Definitely a lot of great high caliber StarCraft that will be coming to this channel in the weeks ahead. And also make sure to tune in for our Kings of Battles KB International Championship tomorrow on Thursday. It will be streamed on our Twitch channel though, so it's twitch.tv/AlphaXSE2. It will be casted by Kozan and Zombie Grub, so make sure to not miss that. It's gonna be a sick group. It's gonna have Innovation. It's gonna have Rainer. It's gonna have Nice. A lot of great players in there, so you definitely don't want to miss that. All right. Spawning here at the bottom left. From Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream. And spawning here at the top right. He's the Blue Zerg player from Kaizi Gaming. It is Solar. Alright, once again, Solar keeping on tab. Making sure that he doesn't get proxied, just like in the first game. And I think this should be a pretty common habit of his, because he just doesn't have the best results when he is proxied. So as long as he can put that off, deny that, and kind of push it to the mid or even to the late game, I think he should be fine. I think that's where he excels, where he shines. Now, Pillars of Gold on the glance, I would say, kind of favors Zergs just a tad bit. And I only say that because there are a lot of open spaces on this map, right? So if there's a lot of open spaces, what does that mean? That means a Zerg has better ways and opportunities to kind of get the surround off of the Terran army. They can get a little bit of a flank, make sure they don't get as much damage from those tank splash damage. And I think that kind of favors the Zerg just a bit. But all in all, it still comes down to execution. It comes down to strategy as well, and builds. And we'll see if Solar can make use of this slight advantage. But Reaper will go ahead and dive in. Doesn't get too much done. Oh, might actually get something done with this creep tumor, but just too low health of a life to commit to that creep tumor. So we'll have to let that go. So mainly it's going to go ahead and be used for scouting purposes at this point. In the meantime, Dream, though, on the other hand, he has thrown down a fairly early command center before the starport even. So it looks like he is going to focus on sort of a macro opening. And in the meantime, we will go ahead and rely on these Hellions to keep the Zerg busy, to try to slow the Zerg down, whether it's catching some creep tumors or catching some lings. I wouldn't expect him to dive on in, because if he does lose those Hellions, he has nothing to defend against the counterattack, and he won't be able to defend his third base. So I think he just should use this conservatively to make sure that he has some type of units to defend against any incoming lings. Alright, looks like Dream was thinking about potentially diving on in, but there just wasn't a lot of drones to kill, as well as there was a couple queens to defend, so thought better of it. Now, we should see Dream starting to get his third base pretty soon. I would imagine so. There's really not much out here for Solar, but here we go. Dream does decides to poke on in, but it's just not looking great as there are a bunch of lings. He's fighting on creep tumor, or on creep, so those lings and those queens getting on top of this Hellion rather easily, and a little bit of a risky play there by Dream. Doesn't really pay out for him. And right now, Solar, he's gonna go ahead and tech up, get that lair up and running. Whenever a Zerg defense was just purely lings, speedlings, and some queens, and is successful in that defense, is always a great feeling, because that means that you don't have to sacrifice on either your tech or your upgrades, because you know the gas can be goes towards those instead of producing roaches or banelings, right? So you can actually just go straight into Hive relatively easily, and I would actually like to see Solar just head straight into Hive like as soon as possible. Like once his Hive is done, which I think it's done, right? It just got finished, yeah. Just throw down either Infestation Pit, or it looks like in this case he's going to throw down Hydralisk to go into the Lurker, Lings, and Baneling composition. Zogern said, did the Maturino. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you supporting the players. I believe, guys, the Maturino link and the coupon code has been updated in the info section. It's the coupon code is AX180. So if you haven't done so, make sure to do that coupon and add in that 50 cents. But in the meantime, Dream gonna go ahead and try to dive on into this fourth base. Just too much Zerglings and Banelings on the ground for him to do anything. Dream trying to harass while doing this slow push here. And again, this rock serving such a great blockage for Dream, so that the it's a harder time for Solar to get on top of those tanks. And he's kind of doing what we call a little bit of a slow push, not committing quite in, but just enough to force the Zerg's hand, whether to either commit to and to diving in with his Ling and Banelings. But let's hold that thought. There is a huge Ling counterattack. There's actually no defense here for these. And oh no, that one Baneling killing all those SCVs. That Baneling does have the +1 attack, so it does one-shot those SCVs, unfortunately, and losing a bunch of SCVs. He is down by almost 30 workers, and so Dream is gonna either have to clear up this base, this hatchery, or at least get a lot of worker kills. But right now, Solar is once again continuing with that counterattack, rolling in with those Banelings. At the same time, he is trying to defend, but I think Dream's focus right now is trying to make sure he doesn't lose to these workers. This could be the opportunity for Solar to dive on in, but he is just trying to make sure that he morphs enough army to have enough to get on top of this. I think he should have enough right now. Yeah, he should have enough from the looks of it. I think he's just a bit wary. He doesn't have vision. He doesn't quite 100% know how many tanks there are on the backside. There is no changeling, there is no overseer, so he's just gonna go ahead and just sack this hatchery as he is teching up to lurker tech. And once again, Dream abusing this terrain of this map and dropping into the main base. At the same time, once again, going for that counterattack does force the liftoff of the command center and the cancel at the planetary. This time around, Dream will be able to send in some units over to defend, but Dream is already in front and knocking at the door of Solar's natural. So slowly but surely, Dream is going to inch forward and forward. There are 4 lurkers on the map though. And here we go, a nice little sandwich here coming from the left side as well as the right side. And he will be able to clear this up. A bit scary because it was off of creep, but he just had the overwhelming amount of ground force. And now it is Solar's time to once again go for that counterattack. What do we have here? We have 2 tanks and a few Marines. Not that scary, right? So Solar, I think, does have a significant edge at this point. If he can pull the Zerg army to the right side and then move forward with his army on the left side, he might be able to snipe off that base, but Dream looks like he is just staying at home, just stabilizing and solidifying that command center. So looks like we kind of have ourselves both players on somewhat even footing. Although I will give Solar a slight edge. He does have the hive. He is getting his crackling upgrades. And let's take a look at the income graph actually. Yeah, that 83 worker has been really serving Solar really well. But, oh, catches one of those Vikings. That means, and that Viking was actually pretty high in energy, so a little bit of a small hit there. But this is gonna give the opportunity for Dream to go ahead and go back into the main base, drawing the attention, and this is gonna give him the opening to clear up some creep with these Marines. Can't really kill that base because there are bunch of lurkers here. And oh, just right into the Hydralisk, then takes that out, no problem. And he should retreat here. Oh no, I'm not liking this. I do not like that he went further into the natural and their base, which means that he is that Solar will get off some free kills here, because man, I don't like that decision there. Once he took out that Hydralisk Den, I think he should have just retreated. There was no reason for him to dive on into that huge scary Zerg army. Some more harass here on the right and left side. Now notice that Dream hasn't really committed to a full-on attack. He's still staying behind with his tanks. He's only sending like Marine Marauders and then also some Liberators from time to time. And I think it's because he just knows that he doesn't quite have enough to deal with that Lurker Force. He's kind of biding his time. And it so far looks to be working. Oh, will he take out this hatchery? Doesn't quite have enough time. Oh, does go down to that Hydralisk Force. Yeah, surely but slowly, Luna's kind of claw himself a little bit back into the game, but Solar is going to go ahead and put on the hurt here. Is it quite enough? There are a lot of tanks in the back. Nice blinding cloud here on these clump of tanks, as well as some ducks. And a nice little pickoff here for Solar. This will down the Terran down to 4 bases. Luckily for him, though, he just established this 6 o'clock base, so he can freshly mine from it. You still have 65 workers, so pretty healthy worker count on Dream's end, but also a pretty healthy count on Solar end as well. 76, not too shabby. The thing is that I'm a little worried that Solar has kind of neglected his upgrades. He does have Hydralisk, but his +1 range attack, I feel like that should be he should be researching +2 at this moment. But here we go. He's gonna go ahead and dive on in here. The most important thing is the lurker. The lurkers in his army. I think that's the big powerhouse that he has, the main force. But smartly, Dream does not engage into that lurker army. We'll go ahead and try to go force a base trade scenario. And the question is Solar gonna go for that base trade, or is he gonna go ahead and try to defend his base? It looks like he's gonna commit the majority of his army to defending. He's pulling back his lurkers on the backside of the tanks. Oh no! Oh no! Is Solar gonna go ahead and flank the CS? He is. He's gonna sandwich this, and beautiful backside attack by these lurkers, as well as cleaning up the front lines. Dream trying to get one last kill on this hatchery, which he does. At least he dies in vain. At least he gets something for losing all that. And I can't imagine him diving into this. He's gonna have to retreat. Looks like on the other side, he hasn't lost too much actually. This base was pretty much mined out, so I would say all in all, Solar on the losing end of that decision, of that semi-base trade. I don't know if he should have retreated. His lurkers were like already on the Terran side. You have to wonder, should he have just gone into the natural and the I guess the 6 o'clock base with those lurkers instead of retreating them back? But I mean, it was beautiful cleaning up those tanks, but I feel like he could have just cleaned up those tanks without those lurkers. He could have disrupted the economy of Dream while defending. But all in all, let's see here. We do have 4 bases compared to 5 base of the Zerg. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Everything is 2020 hindsight, so this game is a game of split decisions. Once again, Dream being so annoying with these drops. get the hatchery. I mean, not the hatchery, the Hydralisk then. So no more Hydralisk or yeah, no more Hydralisk for our Zerg until he remakes that lair of his. He's actually hasn't remade that lair that he lost in from the main base. Yeah, I just love what Dream is doing here. He's keep killing key units, not key units, key buildings with the Hydralisk. And now the another hatchery pushing Solar down another base. And I think more importantly, also the creep. The creep has been really hampered by Dream's multi-prong attack. And here we go. Looks like Solar has had enough of this. He wants to finish this out, but there are so many tanks on the back. Is it enough? There are still a lot of lurkers. These lurkers doesn't seem to be dying. And oh my goodness, I think Dream has finally had enough, or doesn't have enough for, army for Solar. These lurkers just so good, and just Solar just showing the reason why lurkers are so loved and favored in the ZVT matchup. Just well done there by both players, I gotta say. That was a really scrappy game. Really so much of back and forth engagements throughout the entire game, and a well-deserved win. Solar will go up a 2-1. Oh wait, actually, wait, was that? Okay, yeah, that was the third game. Okay, yeah, so Solar will go up 2-1 there. I was just making sure I didn't mess up on the scoreboard. Oh man, that was quite the long game actually. Let's see, how long was that? That was 19 minutes. Alright, so our fourth map will be on Lightshade LE. Alright, let's see what's happening in the chat here. Dream is so good. Yep, he is. But he's gonna have to be a bit better for this next game, cause definitely don't want to go down 3-1. By the way, guys, there is another event later today. It's the Alpha X series between Laser and Soul. It's happening in about 1 hour and 25 minutes. So I think shortly after we finish today's Trovo Weekly events, it should be live. So make sure to tune in for that. I believe that is going to be on either our Trovo or Twitch channel. I'm not. Let me go ahead and make sure. Okay, it's going to be on our Twitch channel, so that should be up live shortly after we finish this series, maybe 1 hour later or so, depending on how long this series ends up being. But anyhow, here in the top left, it is the red Terran player from Bravestar Gaming. Looking up to tie up the series. Can he do it? It is Dream. Hey Neo, what's up? Here, spawning at the bottom right, we have the blue Zerg player from Kaizi Gaming. Looking to extend his lead to 3-1. It is Solar. Alright, so Lightshade LE. This is of course one of these smaller maps similar to Submarine LE. So we'll have to see if one or both or none of the players does want to go for a strong, aggressive early game push. I mean, I definitely would like to see the possibility of Solar going for that fast roach play, or maybe even go for a third base and go for a mass link baiting or something, or maybe some type of timing attack. But then, as I say that, I'm thinking maybe he shouldn't, because Solar is I feel like he's a better, macro game player, so he might want to just hold off on that. Dream, on the other hand, he's been pretty much going 1-1-1 build throughout this whole series. And to be honest, Terran players, they don't really want to go for that 2-1-1 build anymore, because long time ago it used to be pretty solid, but for the past couple years it hasn't really been used as much, because I feel like it just doesn't quite do enough damage to kind of merit that decision to go for 2-1-1. I mean, you see it from time to time still against Zergs, right? But it really depends on if you can do enough damage with that initial, 2 medevacs full of Marines. If you don't, it just puts you so behind, tech-wise and macro-wise, that it's just so difficult to come back from there. Not impossible to come back, but definitely puts you on the back foot. And I think that's why Terran has gone for more 1-1-1 builds, or at least 1-1 and then into expansion, like Dream has done right now. Alright, in the meantime, moving out with these Hellions. These Hellions haven't quite worked out wonderfully for Dream. I think from time to time you'll get a good decent amount of drones, but not like the mass, barbecue type of drones that you always want as a Terran. But again, that's because Solar is always prepared for it. He has, for some reason, he always has like the certain amount of lings to defend against it, and it's going to be up to Dream to decide whether he wants to push in fully or not. Dream is like poking here and there, trying to find some opening, but this Overlord there on the top does provide him with plenty of vision to make sure his queens are in position in the right place, as well as these continuous creep spread. All right, once again, Solar going for that Bailing's Nest. And going for that +1/1 as well. That kind of signals to me that he might go once again to the Hydralisk lurker play, like he did in the previous game. Only because he did open up similarly as well when he did go for that. It seems like Dream has had so much trouble against lurker play. Kayuri in the chat saying lurker's quite strong. Yeah, I haven't seen a game where Dream has gone up against lurkers and he's won. At least not today. In any of the TDZs that he's played, whether it's in the Dream, whether it's in the Dream versus Armani or this series. But here we go. Oh my god, nice sweet connections with those banelings. We'll clean this up, no problem at all. You will have even a couple of blings left over from it. And Solar once again having no trouble defending against this Hellbat type of push. And now he is once again going back into that lurker Hydralisk play, getting that infestation pit. I mean, once you cleaned up that attack, you know that the Terran army doesn't have that much army to do a big attack soon in the near future. So this is the perfect time for Solar to start throwing down his tech buildings, and then also get some additional upgrades wherever he can. Alright, there we go. Lurker Tech has commenced. He's going to go ahead and throw down that building here. Solar just going to need to buy some time to make sure that, you know, he get that Lurker then up and running. And he can start making those Lurkers after that. But from the looks of it, yeah, you shouldn't have no problem. It just seems like these drops and these Marine harass hasn't really done too much. Hasn't really paid for his value. He is kind of sniping on those creep tumors, but the creep in the middle is still continuing. A little bit lagging behind in the bottom side, but I mean, as long as Solar is working his way to those lurkers, then he should be fine. Look at the units tab here. We can only see 3 tanks. Oh man, that was quite disgusting. I think Solar is just outplaying Dream right now. There's just not enough firepower from these 3 tanks, and Solar will just pretty much clean this without a sweat. And right now, he has all the access to go for some additional lurkers, even adding some Vipers as well, as he did go for that fast infestation pit to get that faster hive. I wouldn't mind seeing Solar just going for another counterattack. I think he should have enough, although no banelings in this engagement here. Solar giving a bit of an opening to Solar. You know what? As I say this, I noticed that there hasn't been any lurkers out on the field yet. I mean, he is morphing in right now 1-2 lurkers, but this might have been a bit too late. Imagine if he had like a good number of lurkers, like 6 or 8 or even 10. I mean, this hold will be so easy, and he could actually go for a counterattack at the same time. Nice a little abduct there, but there are still 2 tanks on the backside. Now, the thing that worries me is that the energy is being drained so much from Dream that he's, once he stims, there's not going to be a lot of healing energy on those medevacs to heal those Marines. Forcing another stim out of Dream. Another nice abduct, and he's kind of doing a rinse and repeat, making sure he consumes a bit more energy. It's gonna force Dream to go back because again he doesn't have quite the scary amount of tanks, and he also all his medevacs is just so low in energy. He is gonna go ahead and leave behind for a couple group of Marines here on the backside to help try to get some damage done here at the main, but once these Banings come in, really nothing much that he can do, right? So I don't know. I'm still a little bit afraid here for Dream because a lot of his army is in Marines, and as great as Marines are, he needs something else. He needs either a huge amount of tanks, or he needs something to defend against what Solar currently has. Which is those lurkers. Dream has not found an answer in any of these games whenever Solar went for lurkers. So, and it's getting towards to that late game, which I will definitely give the favor to Solar. We'll see what Dream can come up with, but he needs something. Okay, there we go. A Ghost Academy. Finally, something to kind of deal with those lurkers. Either those snipes or maybe even a nuke. Alright, this game has gone a bit quiet for a little bit of time as both players are trying to prepare themselves for that late game, making sure they have the right unit composition. That's still the creep tumor and the creep spread at the bottom side still lacking. Hasn't been quite impressive, as it's still on the Zerg side of the base. He's getting there still on the middle side. I think he's been preoccupied a little bit this past few minutes. But here we go, 14 minutes into the game, and both players are max. They are starting to kind of bank up in resources. Solar has a bit more in the bank, but either way, Solar is going to go ahead and go for the first move here. Where is Dream's army? Oh my goodness. Dream has just no way of defending his natural, as these lurkers are kind of keeping them at bay, kind of zoning them out, and there's really nothing Dream can do because these are only just Marines. Marines just not great against banelings, not great against lurkers, and once again, it just seems Dream has no answer. He can't do anything. He is gonna go ahead and try to do a drop, but it looks like he's still concerned with this attack at home. Finally does attack here, but the damage has been done already. 19 workers going down for Dream. And yeah, Dream is getting bases after bases, but I mean, Zerg has so much bases already that it's just not that, that's just not that significant. I mean, he has 3,000 resources and minerals that he can just plot down a huge load of hatcheries either way to replace it. And once again, Dream is just falling apart. You have to wonder, what can he do if Solar keeps going for the lurkers? Right now, Dream is pretty much not mining at all, as all his bases has been under siege. The only one is the natural, which that is a pretty measly amount of mineral patches. And again, Dream down to 33 workers. Solar just needs to clean up this army, and this army is just not that scary. Only one medevac as well. All these units are in red and life. And GG, Solar takes a convincing game number 4 and pushes his lead to 3-1. Dream is definitely going to have to come up with some way of countering this lurker play, because that's kind of been his Achilles heels thus far. It's been his kryptonite, basically. So, I mean, he is on the back end, because Solar up 3-1 only has to win one more game, which means that Dream will have to win the rest of the games to even claim victory. Because this is the best of 7, so. Alright, looks like our next map will be on Romanticide. Awesome. Once again, just a excuse me, just a reminder that there is another Alpha X event. This is going to be the Alpha X series between a laser and Soul. It's going to take place on our Twitch channel, so it's going to be happening in about an hour from now. A little over an hour. So if you have not had enough StarCraft action yet today, head on over there in about an hour and enjoy some nice games between a laser and Soul. But here we go. Spawning at the bottom right is the Terran, the red Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. And spawning here at the top left from Kaizi Gaming, it is Solar. Alright, so I was actually gonna predict that maybe Dream would go for a proxy once again. After the first game, he hasn't really gone for any proxies. So I was like thinking maybe it's a good time to pull out. I mean, you're up 3-1, right? Oh no, actually you're down 3-1 and you need a win. So I mean, come on. You need something to kind of get back to the game. But Solar, he's been on top of it. He's been sending his overlord to the scouting paths of where potential proxies has been. So maybe it's not gonna work out quite well for him as it did the first game around. But who knows? Maybe we shall see it in a potential sixth or seventh game if it goes that far. So Romanticize, one of the newer maps, of course, does have a really kind of unique path or unique layout. And we'll get right to it after this Reaper harassment. Oh, does get another. Just get a drone here. So a nice little pick off there. Any drone you can get is a win. But as I was saying, there is a really unique pathway here on this map. A lot of rocks, even got some kind of mineral walls here. You don't really see as much of those on these recent maps. Usually you'll see a lot of rocks blocking the way, but this map has more mineral walls, more than usual at least. Ooh, what do we have here? Solar going for a really quick lair, and I gotta wonder, is this for Nidus play? I wouldn't be surprised because this is one of the maps that is actually pretty huge. There's a lot of dark areas where you can kind of hide a Nidus, right? So if he can get a Nidus up here into the base of Dream and Dream can't snipe it down, it might actually be pretty scary for him. Now this has yet to be scouted, but Dream does scout that there is no dirt base, so he should be wary that something is up. He should be wary that Solar is up to something, and I think he's gonna have his first glance at the the lair timing. And immediately he should be throwing down like buildings everywhere in his main base to make sure that there is no way that the Nidus can get up. Instead, he's actually going to throw down or send a Viking, which actually is another alternative. If there is no overlords, then you can't really Nidus. But actually, it's not a Nidus. It's actually a 2 or a Spire here. So it's kind of a somewhat of a 2-base Spire, but he did get that third hatchery before the Spire, I think. But either way, there is going to be a lot of Mulus making his way across the map very soon. And right now, Dream only has Hellions mainly out in the field. He does have few Marines, but he should definitely get some more Marines as these Mulus will be coming out very soon. Alright, so combat shield about to be done, or actually halfway done actually, as well as +1/1. That should definitely help out with the defense there. But if he can make an attack kind of pretty soon, he might potentially keep the Mulus at bay and at home. But yep, he does scout the Mulus. Turrets I expect should be throwing up. Oh, actually he already has preempted one turret in the main base. None at the main base, funny enough. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and go for a counterattack. And the reason for this counterattack is that he's got the turrets up. He knows that he should be relatively safe against these Mulus. And if the Zerg player is investing a lot of this gas into Mulus, he shouldn't have a lot on the ground unit. And we do see that there are only a few Lings and Banelings here. And yeah, Dream is going to get on top of this. Clears out all the Banelings, and that forces the Mulus to kind of fly back at home. And these Mulus, or these Marines rather, getting some great efficient trades here against Solar. Solar is just trying to scrap enough army to kind of finally clean this up. He just doesn't have quite enough. Oh my god, even losing Mulus here and there. And I think this is it. This is the snowball effect is commencing as the line of Marines are marching his way across the map, and Dream staves off of being eliminated and will keep his tournament hopes alive as he still down 2-3, but at least he does not get KO'd at 4-1. So trying to make a fight at it, trying to make Solar work for it. All right, let me go ahead and see if I could add in this poster here to show you the Alpha X series that's gonna come up in about an hour. Once again, it's going to be on our Twitch page. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and show you guys a Laser versus Soul for our Alpha X Series 24th edition. It's going to be sponsored by Vikings War of Clans. You can get it on Perium Play. And yeah, you'll just have to head on over to our Twitch channel to check out the games. So yeah, make sure to head on over there. It's going to be a best of 9, so that should be pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and update the scoreboard. 3-2. All right, spawning here at the bottom left is the red Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. And spawning here at the top right is the blue Zerg player from Kaizi Gaming. It is Solar. So, Oxide LE, one of the maps with a lot of long distance between each base. Now, there are 2 potential dirt bases. There's one here, and then there's of course one here, but the distance between the natural and that base is just like too much. So you don't usually see anybody go for the dirt base. Usually is either their 4th or 5th base that's over there. And of course, you know, if you take the hatchery down here, the Zerg can just abuse it by attacking here and then they're flying right into the main base. So that's not something that the Zerg would definitely want to do. Maybe in the later stages, like once he gets his 4th, 5th, or 6th base, then he can start grabbing that base. But I don't expect it. I expect him to take that 12 o'clock base at the top. But in the meantime, standard opening from both players. Nothing too crazy. And looks like it's going to be once again a Hellion opening, as that factory is being built right next to that barracks. Should see the reactor coming up soon, but Reaper won't be making his way into the natural. Now, he did get a drone in the last game. Will he get another one? This time around, doesn't seem so, as Solar looks to be on top of it. Queen pops up just in time to scare the Reaper away. So last game, we did see Solar going for that fast Mulus play. Now this time around, definitely not going for it. It is a risky play, because if you go for that fast Mulus Spire play, then you're not going to have a lot of ground army in the beginning. A lot of your gas is invested in the faster layer, into that Spire, into the Mulus. And if you can keep the Terran player at home, then yeah, it works out. But if the Terran decides to go for a timing attack with like +1/1 upgrade, then the Mulus is really kind of not as useful, because you know there is the optimal amount of Mulus where it gets scary, where you can just face up against the ground army, but in that early stage, you're not going to have that much Mulus to fight one-on-one and up front against those Marines with Stim and Combat Shield and Medevacs, right? So Looks like Solar not gonna go for that build once again. Gonna go ahead and get Ling Speed. Hasn't quite revealed his tech yet. He still hasn't got the lair. So I guess he's just droning for the meantime, just relying on those queens to defend against any incoming attack. We'll go ahead and send the Overlord in and scout what the Terran is up to here. Does he scout that command center? Okay, he does. And oh, does slip on by. Doesn't quite get the supply depot just in time. He is trying to do a Hellbat push at the same time. Oh my god, he's going to lose a lot of SCVs. He's going to have to make this Hellbat push really work. But there are several queens out here. And that medevac is so low in life. Oh, that spine crawler is so helpful. That command center is going to, I mean, not command center, that spine crawler is going to be able to help really, really well in terms of defending this and cleaning this up. And in the meantime, 12 workers being lost by Dream, and I have no idea what he's saying because I'm not Korean, or I don't read Korean. But Dream, I think he knows that he lost a bunch of workers and got absolutely no worker kills across the map. Boy, that was a really good hold there by our Blue Zerg. And what can Dream do right now? He doesn't even have a. He doesn't have his third base established yet. He's just got the command center made, but gonna go ahead and morph that into a orbital while throwing down some additional barracks. But at this point, really, what Solar can just pretty much do anything. Unfortunately for him, his lair was late, so he can't really pick and choose his tech of choice right now, or at least plop down the building for it. But I assume that he might go for once again that lurker play. I mean, he has pretty much been working out throughout this whole series, so might as well go for it, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Okay, into the new, saying I thought I blocked the entrance. So that was a translation for the earlier Korean chat. He did block it, but it was just not in time. The SCVs was on the path of making that supply depot, but yeah, sometimes you get unlucky with that, right? I mean, there's always that chance where you queue up a building to be made to block off, and it just isn't. It's not quite there in time for the Lings to block off the Lings. So yeah, really great pick up there for Solar. Now it is not totally out of it yet. I mean, Dream's still not completely dead, but boy, is he in trouble, because throughout this whole time, Solar has been droning up all the way to 71, almost 20 workers ahead of the Terran player. And you gotta wonder, what can Dream do? Once again, Solar going for that infestation pit to get that early hive. And remember, Solar is one game away from winning this finals. He is up 3-2. So Dream, he can't afford to lose to Solar, or else pretty much he is dead. There is not going to be a next game after this if he loses. So he needs to do anything he can. He needs to pull out any rabbit out of the hat. In the meantime, the Hydralisk Den has just finished, and we should be. Yep, there we go. Lurker Den. All right, for the pretty much I think the third time this series, we have seen the Lurker play from Solar, and both times Dream has faced against it has not worked out really well. So we'll see if he has a better luck this time around. But I mean, he's definitely going to have to not make as much Marines and go for something different, whether it's faster Ghosts, whether it's a Liberator with range or something, to kind of counteract the mass lurkers that Solar is about to have. This Liberator is having a heyday hunting overlords. I guess it's overlord hunting season right now. Alright, so basically Solar continuously spreading those creep, which is pretty good. Dream establishing more bases. I do like that he has thrown up a lot of sensor tower, knowing that should give and allow Solar or Dream to know where Solar's army is, and kind of position his tanks and his army force to help defend against any lurker push. And I guess that's one of the advantages of making so many queens in the beginning, right? You kind of stack on those energy. So first you use the queens to defend any, hellbat timing, and then once the game goes on, the queens gonna continuously gain energy, and that allows them to, throw down a bunch of creep tumors and get that creep spread running. Here we go, another attack here on the left side. And it's kind of been the MO of a Dream, just going for multi-prong attack. It's just that the problem is it hasn't really worked out really well, as Solar is a pretty good defensive player. And plus, when you go lurkers, defending is pretty, it makes it a lot easier. So, like here, you can just like burrow lurkers here and then use your main force, your main link force on the right side to defend whatever other attack. I mean, I do like it. Dream is trying to kill as much creep tumor as he can, but again, with all these queens, they just get replaced instantly after it gets killed. Spire going down for Solar this time. We might actually see a Broodlord transition if this lurker play isn't successful, or you can actually team it up and do it up with the Broodlords. But either way, Dream is still behind, I would say. Although he has kind of made a lot of workers, a lot of SCVs. But the question is, does he have the army to deal with what would be a really deadly lurker ball here? Combining that with, of course, the Vipers as well. That's going to force Dream to move his army, his entire army, down here between his natural and his fourth or third base here. But as you can see, Lurker is just cleaning house. And once again, Dream has just no answer for these Lurkers. And at this point, you gotta say Solar is kind of playing with his food a little bit. I don't think he has quite enough to feel comfortable to go right in, but he's definitely in the driver's seat. He's got about 3k minerals banked up. Still needs a bit more gas, so I would like to see him kind of start grabbing all the other expansions, which it looks like he is. He's even grabbing Dream's expansions here at the bottom side. That's how confident he is. And here we go. I think this might be potentially the last push. All these lurkers still alive. These are ducks onto these tanks, basically carrying them out. And Solar will clean out the rest of a Dream's army and will claim champion of the Alpha, or into the Alpha X Trovo Weekly number 5. So well played there by Solar. GG's. Alright guys, that does it here. My throat is hurting. I gotta wrap this up. But before we wrap this up, just a reminder that we do have the Alpha X Series 24 edition happening on our Alpha X SC2 Twitch channel. Make sure to catch that. It's going to be between a laser versus Soul. Alright, we're going to go ahead and raid our friend, our member, Vindicta. And then we'll be signing out. Alright, so thanks guys once again for tuning in and watching the games and also doing the matcherinos. But until then, have a great day guys.